I am here with the Pantheon lead developer. CJ, we're going into the finals, and it's been so incredible to do this. I just want to thank you and thank White Wizard Games, and thank everybody who's been watching all weekend. It has been incredibly fun, and it's so exciting to be part of all of this. And we're down to two players, John Tatian versus Sam Black. Both of these players very skilled and limited, and we're about to watch draft. I am not actually sure which person yet that we are going to be following.
Oh, we're going to be following Sam.
Oh, wonderful. So we're going to watch Sam's draft. We just did watch John's. That makes sense. We're going to watch from Sam's perspective. Again, this is best of 5. 2 games of Dark Draft, followed by upwards of as many as 3 games of Constructed. We just saw John. He's playing the Skara's Gift evil deck, as we saw to its full ability. And Sam playing a deck very similar to Mike Segrist. And here we are watching Sam. He might have already picked a few cards before we joined him. I can't tell if that's his first pack or not.
Right. Well, either way, we are looking. He looks like he's evaluating the Grave Demon because he wants to get discard banishment.
Yep. So we will, during the review period in Pack 3, be able to catch up on what those few cards were at the beginning for Sam. I think he's... Did you take one or 2 cards? I couldn't see. It was on
I mean, I hope he took 2.
Yeah, it was strange.
All right, so I guess right now he's thinking, I like Lash most of the time for most decks.
Yeah, this Gareth's Juggernaut. Also a new card from Pantheon that I'm excited to see, along with Kalani, 5/5 Blitz, aggressive, powerful zeros, but he does go.
He ended up taking the Steel Titan.
Yeah, with the Steel Titan there.
All right, so he's got Fumble, Angel of Light, Lashnox Will, Grave Demon, Royal Escort, Army of the Apocalypse.
Yes.
The Steel Titan looks like one of the Angels.
And we saw him in the round before this
Dark Knight
with Steel Titan, and it looked like Calvin didn't have any answer to it. We went over there very briefly, but really evaluating Steel Titan and Brock really showcasing themselves as powerful new cards from Pantheon. And it looked like Fumble was his first pickup, which is just a wonderful. He has both Fumble and Haste to Retreat already, and 3 out of his first 9 cards are 0. He has the Grave Demon already as a way to deal with the discard pile, as well as the Lashnox Will, which often plays out as a 0. So
interesting picks. He actually doesn't have any other wild cards to go with the Lashnox Will right now, so
he doesn't.
It'll be interesting to see if he really prioritizes those type of cards. So here, I think he doesn't have any board clears yet. He'll probably want to pick up the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yep. The Ankylosaurus, also a powerful 0. Bigger than most zeros, but doesn't recycle. So Roxas Curse, very good against Ankylosaurus. The Zombie Apocalypse, powerful off-turn board wipe. And that's what he was deciding against this whole time. And it looks like he is going to go with the 0. But
it is good to have zeros. This Ankylosaurus also does work with...
No, he switched at the last second. He did go with the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, Ankylosaurus also does work with Lashnox Will.
It does. Yeah.
You
have a coin
to
draw
a card
if you need to. Absolutely. And he has passed for... he already has that Lashnox Will. This is, I think, the big deciding moment. He can take the Straka. He could also just take the Force Mage Apprentice and the Resurrection, even if he just plans on using it as a draw 2 most of the time. But this is the decision here.
I think I like Force Mage and Resurrection. Draka is really awkward if you can't get the Loyalty 2 off on it.
Exactly.
And so he definitely does have to decide. I didn't really see what he picked exactly there, but it's really hard.
That was the fastest pick you can make. Surprise attack.
Surprise.
Very quickly. Passing the Consume.
Interesting. I think I prefer Consume usually over the surprise attack, but I know it's a personal preference.
Is he only drafting?
He picks 2 cards.
Oh, sorry. I keep thinking it's only.
He's just doing it. He just puts the ones that he wants to the top, and then he takes the bottom 2 off of the stack and sticks them on top of his deck.
Multiple times it's looked like he's only grabbed 1 from how close they are to each other, but
interesting. He's really considering Avenger of the Covenant over Quell. I think Quell generally. I always have a hard time making good use of Avenger of the Covenant. It seems much better than it always is in practice, to me.
Yeah, and I would say both like Avenger of the Covenant, Master Zoe, Entangling Vines. I've seen a lot of those cards in the feature match area this weekend.
Yeah.
Cards I would think I value a little bit lower, like you're saying, but people have started to value higher and higher simply because they're looking for that ambush threshold. They're trying to reach on making sure, or just making sure they have enough
Having off-turn threats.
And that, even if they're less powerful, they're valuing those higher and higher.
Absolutely.
And that's why this is such a tough decision. And he's going to take it over the Brock.
Wow. All right, so here he has a couple of evil cards. He has Army Apocalypse, Dark Knight, and one other evil card.
But not pulling the trigger on Draka, but definitely on Angel of Death.
Right. Yeah, I mean it is more exciting.
Yeah. A very quick banishment.
Wow.
That was a very, very quick. Especially with that Memory Spirit in the pack, he already has Fumble and Haste Retreat in his deck.
Right.
I think Memory Spirit incredibly powerful when you have the 0 events to back it up, but he slammed that banishment. He knows what he wants. And here's another really powerful pack.
Yeah, it's interesting if he already has a strategy going in and he's really trying to just take that to fulfill that strategy.
Yeah, he definitely seems to know what he likes and what he wants. And
he's really eyeing that, like Cave Troll, for example. I mean, it is really difficult to use either Herald of Ashnok or
Strafing
Dragon unless you can really reliably pull it off.
And Cave Troll can be good even if you only have a few other wild coins at the end of your draft. Even if it comes back once, it can feel very powerful.
It's interesting. It's almost like he sort of got the idea that he wasn't going to be past a whole lot of wilds, and then he just keeps getting past him.
Yeah. This is the end of pack 7, so players in the review period now.
Oh, because he has the Angel of Mercy and the Angel of Light, so that's why he's trying to really pick up.
And that's part of the reason I think
champions.
he said he was thinking to himself, I need more good coins, and he picked up the banishment so quickly.
Right.
Even if Memory Spirit might, be another great card for his deck, he's trying to make sure he has loyalty requirements.
I'm also kind of curious what he took Army of the Apocalypse over.
Yeah, those were the few cards at the beginning that we.
Another card that I personally don't value very highly, but I have seen people win games off of it.
I've never been able to win a game off it, but people talk about their great Army of the Apocalypse stories.
True.
So I'm not afraid to just pick it up. I almost always use it as a draw too.
Yeah. I mean, Steel Titan is a great thing to Army of the Apocalypse out.
Right. It's the same for Resurrection. Occasionally, Resurrection is incredible.
Yeah.
Where somehow you're able to pull that off, but often a draw too. So he's reviewing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully, he goes all the way through 4, 5. I think he only has 5 zeros.
Yeah.
It's 5 or 6. If I'm in Sam's position, I'm looking for more zeros.
Right.
But I don't think I can pass Train Essence. That would be very hard for me. So I think that's what he's looking at right now. He just evaluated that. I don't have enough zeros. I only have 3 packs left. I would assume, especially based off Sam's previous drafts and a lot of people's drafts, we've seen this power of zeros. But Drain Essence, not a card that's easy for me to pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I think I still like the 0 because Drain Essence is really great, but he's gonna have a lot of hands where he has lots of cards and he only has 1 gold.
Yeah, and that's what he decides to go with, the Scared Cultist, and evaluating zeros and knowing he needs more. And what a great pack!
Right,
he's low on zeros.
I don't think he has any recycle.
Yeah, both of the zeros he just picked up had recycles,
and he's probably taking Force Lances.
There's
Alchemist. Hey, I need some zeros.
Yeah, he's opening them. I mean, if he wants, he can take the Alchemist Assassin.
Yeah.
He just picked up the...
I mean, it does go really well with Force Lance.
Yeah.
Just boom, take 12. But I think I also... I mean, the power of Rift Summoner can't be denied, especially in a deck that has a lot of evil cards.
And Wave, always a safe, incredible off-turn board wipe.
Right.
Got some choices to make here.
I think he doesn't want to go into yet another faction, considering that he's kind of like spread out a bit
Right.
over the different alignments.
I like Alchemist
Yeah, I
Assassin.
like the Alchemist Assassin.
Just looking for more zeros, looking for ways to pressure your opponent into playing their gold first. But he's having a hard time.
Yeah, because if you
here.
say he takes the Rift Summoner here, then I mean, then John's going to be taking the Alchemist Assassin.
Exactly. I've rarely seen John pass up a chance to take a zero. Some powerful cards coming back. Dirge of Skara and Silver Dragon. Both cards we've seen played a lot in both in Limited and Dirge and Constructed. And those are the two he goes with.
Right.
Those two are both very powerful.
Yeah, so I think based on a lot of the cards that have been passed, it's very high. There's a very high chance that that John is in Sage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is too hard of a decision, right? Of those two, I personally. Interesting. He really likes the erratic research. Maybe because he's missing out on a lot of draw twos.
It's got to be an evaluation of draw twos there. He's still very low on zeros.
Yeah.
But he definitely wanted that effect, that turn.
It is pretty awkward if you always have to use the cards that say draw two on them to draw two every single time.
Right. He did pick up that Rift Summoner, so I think he's happy to see 3 evil cards in this pack to help with the loyalty 2 off Rift Summoner, though not a requirement for that card.
Well, I definitely like Inner Demon, but it looks like he's evaluating Dark Offering and Ambush Party. Now, I personally have never... I can't say a lot of good things about Dark Offering, right?
I've had some pretty incredible...
Really?
I've had, partially with the Gudgeon.
Right. I
So
mean,
there are times...
He does have Misguide Herald in his deck.
And he has Misguide Herald. So there are times where it can be really good. I think he picked Inner Demon with the Dark
Offering.
Dark Offering.
I mean, he does have... I should say...
Now he's counting at the end of here.
Yeah, he does have... He picked up the erratic research presumably because he wanted more draw twos. So I think just for that argument, Dark Offering, it's a draw two. It's fine. If you need more draw twos.
Yeah. And in Limited, there are occasional times where that board stall can happen. Again, very hard to pull off the Dark Offering.
Right.
But
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that was the last Dark Draft we'll get to watch this weekend. We saw Sam Black. A lot of powerful coins. And he actually was very clear on what he wanted. He was looking for, especially at a certain point, really looking for good alignment, making sure he had enough snap pick that banishment. But also, also the Rift Summoner, and then making sure he was able to fill out his evil as well. There's no doubt that Sam's power level is there. The only thing I'm concerned with is the number of zeros.
Right.
I think he finished with 6 to 8.
Right.
I strive for 10 every time I Dark Draft. That's like my goal. And if I get more than 10, I'm super happy. Especially knowing John and some of the cards that Sam also passed, Alchemist Assassin, we can expect in John's deck as an example. I would expect John to have more zeros, and the question will be, can John pressure Sam in the Dark Drafts with enough zeros to get him to play those powerful coins first? Or will Sam's just general power level of his coins overtake John?
Right.
So we're about to find that out. Overall, though, Sam was very confident. Actually drafted very quickly.
I see the pack. I know a card I want. I'm taking it.
Yeah. I mean, it's untimed, and I'm nothing against Sam. I'm saying it almost was I believe he was like, maybe I was going to say, I think maybe you should. No, he's clear. He's clear what he wants, and he's clear what he's looking for. And in just a few moments, we're going to get to see them battle. So there'll be 2 games of Dark Draft before going to Constructed, and Sam hasn't lost a game of Dark Draft here in the top 8. So I think John's only lost 1 or 2. So we are very close to heading over. They're still looking through their deck. Again, I said it earlier, but the thing to do here, you have a couple of moments to look through those 30 cards, count the number of zeros, count your loyalties, and count your board wipes, what you're searching for, what you're digging for.
Yeah, you want to know what your answer is. You want to know how many of everything, what you're really looking for in your mulligans, that type of thing.
Absolutely. So we talked about Sage. I also think, John, I mean, some of those packs could just have a ton of wild, and wild is super deep, especially in Dark Draft. I'm interested to see what alignments or loyalty 2 cards John has. I think Sage, but I really, it's hard to tell, especially in Dark Draft where he is. And when I look at his opening hand, I search for cards with loyalty 2 to try to gain a sense really quickly.
Absolutely.
Might even be able to see it.
I don't know, that looked like an Ogre Mercenary on the back.
Yeah, or the Gareth's Juggernaut. So, and it makes sense. We saw very few Sage cards. Some packs are. I mean, he did.
Gareth's Juggernaut was passed, so
Yes.
I would assume. Knowing John, he.
Right. Even if
take the Gareth's
that
Juggernaut.
card is also just. You could just play that without any other Sage cards in your Dark Draft, and I think you'd be happy.
Oh, it would be. I mean, it's just
okay.
a 5/5 for 0 without.
Yeah, with Blitz.
Yeah, it's loaded to 2 Blitz. Pretty sure, right?
Oh, he does. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm thinking of Kalani.
Yeah.
But
It is much better with the
You're
with
right. You're right.
because you can ally ability and give it unbreakable.
Yep. So we are about to start here. Game 1 of the finals. We started with 32 players, and we are down to 2. So here's John again in the finals,
Yeah,
2 years in a row.
absolutely.
Just such a consistent player. I've Dark Drafted against him before, and I feel like he's always one move ahead of me. He's incredible what he does, and Sam obviously a professional Magic player and an incredible gamer himself. 2 Titans about to meet up here, and we saw Sam take that Steel Titan super early. just because I said it reminded me, but really excited to see just that power level. We barely saw it for a moment on screen, but we haven't seen a lot of it. But people have been talking about it. And
Right.
it's just this untargetable Sage Brock.
Yeah, we haven't seen any.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any Steel Titans on the feature match.
On the feature
I
match.
believe.
And so I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, this card, it is one of those tests. It's like Sea Titan's always been, right? You can sometimes just play it on turn 1 and say, what have you got?
Right.
And sometimes in certain decks with these limited resources and limited, very, very difficult to deal with untargetable.
Yeah, and you can't just stick things in front of it.
Yep. Yeah.
You
Can't
need
jump block. It's
a Kong or a Rampaging Worm
Yeah.
or a Brock.
Right.
If you're gonna block it.
All right, so here we are. Players drawing. Yep, and that's first thing I see is the Temporal Enforcer. So the loyalty 2 for John deep into Sage. Looks like he has a Rain of Fire in his opening hand as well. I really like that card. In against good players and in tough matchups, complicated board states, I've seen people be able to finagle Rain of Fire into the most
Into
incredible
3-4s.
scenarios where
Oh,
they're able
man.
to do things. So it has a very high upside. He's going to choose to mulligan here.
That's fair. I mean, he has a lot of cards that
Yeah.
draw too, and he's looking for more Sage things to turn on loyalty for the Temporal Enforcer.
I also see a Knight of the Dawn and a Flames of Furios.
Right. And it looks like he has a Wave of Transformation.
Yep.
As well. All right.
There were also just fewer zeros in that draft. I mean, there's a chance that John opened a lot of packs with 5 coins.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, yeah.
no, I was gonna
That
say-
he takes all.
Right.
He likes to take the zeros.
Right, and if he does take the 0, he takes the only 0 and taking every time. There is a Roxas Curse.
So that's a Knight of the Dawn attacking.
Looks like their names are backwards, right?
Yes. So
Yeah, just so players
yeah,
know.
just so the people that are watching know, it's Sam Black on the left and John on the right.
Yeah.
So yeah, John's attacking with the Knight of the Dawn. I mean, it's a 6/3. This is kind of like a different sort of test. It's, do you have a way to answer this that costs 0? It doesn't need to. It doesn't even need to be a event. It can be a Guilt Demon. A Guilt Demon trades with
Right.
Knight of the Dawn just as well as any other, a Consume or a Wither. But if you don't, I mean, that's a pretty fast clock. 6 damage a turn.
It is, and that 0 forcing Sam to play his coin first.
So it looks like Sam decides not to block with the Avenger, but rather to take the 6.
Yes.
and then play the Avenger afterwards to banish it.
Yep. So Avenger, that 8/8 ambush champion tribute, banish target champion that dealt damage to you this turn. So
I think that's correct, because
Yeah.
considering that, anything can happen. You might play Avenger of the Covenant, and then it's Inner Demon, and you still take 6, and then you're in a horrible spot.
Right. So taking the 6, quell 1 for 1 with the Avenger of Covenant.
Oh, John's all the way down to 3 cards already.
Yep, 4. But yes,
Oh,
no, you're right.
4.
They
Did
must
John
have
play I guess Sam started and he passed.
and John just drew and then attacked If
Right.
you don't have in Sam's position, you don't have an establishing champion. Sometimes that's all you feel safe doing. Yep.
And then
Right,
Dark
and now
Knight.
he finds. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Knight of the Dawn and Dark Knight doing very similar things. Sam passes after he plays his 0. John doesn't fall for it. Says,
We're
"I
having
can't
on
play
a
my
0."
coin."
Yeah.
And waits. Make sure it's his turn. Rocks his curse while the Dark Knight, as Darwin said earlier this weekend, which I never really thought about the flavor, and I was like, of course, the Dark Knight is a vampire. So on your turn, it's like it's night, but it's weaker during the day. And
Absolutely.
on John's turn, he's able to rock
Maybe
his
he's
curse.
going to pass.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, I could even have seen. Is that card in his hand? That's the deal 7. Okay.
Yeah, Flames of Furos, the 7 damage and the deals damage to each one. So
Right. So
Yeah,
John's
the
John's
image
just
player.
using the Raxus cards to flip the script on Sam Black. All right, now I have 0 cost champion.
Yep. And here is Angel of Light, a card we haven't seen much this weekend, but with the loyalty too. 5/6, airborne ambush, gain 10.
Yeah, you don't really want to return that to its owner's hand.
Right.
Considering that John has Temporal Enforcer,
Right.
and I believe Time Walker as well, right?
Yeah. Now with the loyalty too, it's an inner piece on a 5/6 airborne
Yeah.
ambush, an incredibly strong card in Angel of Light. We see Force Field
Just
from
considering
John.
playing the Ankylosaurus here.
Yep.
I
Just
could
as a draw too.
no the
Oh.
So well, he played the draw 2 off the
Right.
force field.
Right.
Yes, and now he's considering, do I play the Ankylosaurus because what can my opponent do that makes this go really badly?
Yep. And I really like having the Ankylosaurus in my deck when I also have the Roxas Curse in my deck.
Right.
It always makes me feel like way safer
Yeah.
picking that up.
I mean, Sam definitely doesn't have the quell.
That too. Yep. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, 5's got to come in.
Yep. And I feel like from both Sam and from Mike Seegers this weekend, evaluating those airborne ambush champions at a very high, they evaluated them as something they wanted, and they've took them all weekend. And for me, I'm starting to think about all of the ambush champions, regardless
Right.
of their power level, is just the ambush alone being that incredible power.
I mean,
powerful.
having ambush champions makes wraths worse. So
Exactly.
basically, if you're playing against someone who evaluates wraths higher, you want to evaluate ambush champions higher.
Yeah.
And if your opponent doesn't have any wraths, well, then ambush champions are worse.
Yep. Inner Demon on Sam's turn. He will get that 4/4 demon.
I think he is looking to try and get off that recycle sooner
Yeah.
rather than later. Although, I could definitely see this Temporal Enforcer. Yeah, looks like he's going to pass. And it's a plenty good target for the Temporal Enforcer.
Yep.
So John's going to threaten 10 and into the swing back.
Yeah, both players trading blows here in the early turns. We've seen the zeros, the attacks, and
Health
and-
swings a lot
yeah.
more than usual, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you go 20 turns into a game, no one's able to even get one point of damage in Dark Draft, but both of these decks really functioning at a high level right now. After the Temporal Enforcer, because of that second card. Yep, the Priestess. Even if it's just a 1/2, it's a 0.
Yeah.
It recycles.
It recycles. I mean,
yeah,
it
and it has a small upside, but yeah.
Right. I mean, upside. It can be pretty big. I've seen people gain 12 health off of a Priestess.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Sam definitely has enough good cards in his deck to activate that Priestess multiple times with 6 around. It's like Flash Fire, one of the pickups for John. And Priestess cannot jump block the Temporal Enforcer. It is unblockable. Sam takes a 6 again. As we've said all weekend, I'm not playing my coin first. It's not worth it. I got to use my life total as a resource.
Absolutely.
So back to John. John will also attack with a demon.
He's really thinking about that. He's really thinking about that Flash Fire. Do I kill the Priestess now? He's thinking about the race. You know, I can deal 10 damage, but if my opponent keeps playing good cards, it's going to be really hard to have my 10 be worth it.
Yep. And Sam deciding not to jump block with the Priestess to gain 4 there, but thinks, you know, there's going to be a bigger target later, or I can gain that life back by keeping the Priestess around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we already know Sam in Sam's hand has Banishment and Angel of Mercy.
Yep.
So that's potentially 6 already.
Yeah, an Angel of Mercy, very low attack and defense, but an incredibly powerful effect.
Oh, yes.
That card is it's really hard to find a time to play it, but if you can get your opponent to play their coin first on their turn,
Yeah.
and then you're able to ambush it in when you have a great threat, maybe another Angel of Light, or I know Sam has a Silver Dragon in his deck. There's going to be some targets in these games for sure.
Yeah. Now, Temporal Enforcer has this odd ability. It can return 0-cost champions to their owner's hands.
Right. Which can be very good against tokens, but not something he probably wants to do to the Priestess.
Yeah, exactly.
So John deciding to draw 2 with the wave. And he will, though.
Wow.
I mean, at this time, there aren't any cards in Sam's discard pile, and John says, you know what? I'm going to keep the pressure on. Not only do I not want you to gain life, but I don't want you to be able to necessarily probably chump block with it again next turn. Wow. Sam just going on the aggressive.
read.
Yeah, and yes, John had a draw 2.
John.
But Sam says, I'll just play a 4 or 5 airborne ambush, at least at this time.
I mean, John was actually able to nag 3 health off of the Priestess there because, you know, Sam was already locked into playing the Angel of Mercy.
True.
But, man, that was very surprising for me, at least.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an Angel of Mercy played as just an airborne ambush in this scenario, but Sam's saying, I'm happy enough with a 4 or 5 that's in the air, and I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure on you. You're only at 18.
Yeah, I mean,
Sam
that's
valuing getting John to play his coin first over the extra value of
Well,
Angel
it's
of
also
Mercy.
just a true turn clock.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 9 damage twice.
Consume.
Looks like he's going to
Oh, Memory Spirit consume.
go up to gain a blocker for the Angel of Mercy and gain 6 up to 24.
And that's the power of Memory Spirit, especially in limited, especially with 0 events. John able to do exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you're using Memory Spirit, you want to be getting back 0-cost
Right.
events because, you know, it kind of turns Memory Spirit into a 5/4 with an extra ability added on.
Exactly.
Of course, now John's going to have to deal with the Angel of Mercy.
Right. If you do kill the Angel of Light before the Angel of Mercy, you better have something ready, or you're going to be getting that Angel of Light right back into play next turn. So we will see what John has for this turn. I think he just picked up a Stampeding Ionosaurus, the new 11/11 Blitz breakthrough from Pantheon.
So it looks like Sam Black is using Lashnock's Will on the Angel of Mercy.
Yeah, I was going to say this for John. He must think, wow, you're going to want to trade here? But that's not going to be the case.
So right now that's a 9-10. which means that John either needs a 5/5 combat or removal. I mean, this is pretty bad for Sam if John just has a 1-cost get rid of your Angel of Mercy, but
yeah, that could be bad if like an Inner Demon or Bitten effect or no escape or something. Yeah. But
I mean,
Sam's not punished there. He's able to pull it off. And
these players are just on another level.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes if that's all you have,
right,
then
you just need to go for it.
That's what you have.
Right.
And in some way, John's
so
okay with that.
Inosaurus is coming in. Misguide Heralds.
Surprise attack and a misguide.
Seems like a good thing to happen.
Oh, there's a Royal Escort, so at least one target.
Escort.
And a Rift Summoner now. Those first three, though.
Wow. The Rift Summoner can eat the Misguide Heralds. But the Royal Escort also is really good with Angel of Mercy.
Yes.
Because the
That's
Angel,
a tough choice.
the Angel, I think you get the Royal Escort because you gain 3 right away.
But it's also protecting your Angel of Mercy.
And it protects your Angel of Mercy, and then the Angel of Mercy protects the Royal Escort, and then you gain 10 more with the Angel of Light coming back because of the you have Banishment and Priestess of Angeline in your hand.
Because of the bounce on Temporal Enforcer. So, it's looking like when that Angel of Light comes back into play, Sam will gain 13, 10 from the Angel and 3 more from the Royal Escort.
We'll gain 3 now and then 10 more later.
Oh, right. When it comes back into play, he doesn't gain it again. You're right.
Yeah. But presumably he'll gain 3.
Yes.
If he decides to play the Banishment on the Inosaurus. But I could very well see him not doing that.
No, he Banishment the Temporal Enforcer last turn.
Oh, you're right.
I don't
know if he has to.
He doesn't have loyalty.
Well, he gets to draw first, so he could draw a good card.
Yes. Regardless, the Angel of Light is coming back.
All right, so I guess he's thinking about blocks. Probably just going to take it.
And that's exactly what it looks like he does, taking the 11, going to 10.
He's really leveraging the... And there's
the amnesia follow-up. Sam thinking, you know what, I can take this 10. I'm about to gain 5 at least with my Angel of Light.
Yeah.
And the amnesia says, no. I don't have an answer necessarily for Angel of Mercy, but I do have this amnesia in my hand. I forgot that he had that.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much why he didn't mind letting that Angel of Light die first.
Exactly.
But we'll see. So the other nice thing about that amnesia is that it cuts off the Priestess of Angeline from getting value again.
Again, yes.
So we might even see John try to close this game out before that ends up being relevant.
Yeah.
And right now with the Flash Fire, John can Flash Fire into
Flames of Furios.
So then that would deal
That's enough
4 damage. Because the Misguide Herald will die to the Flash Fire to Sam Black, so he'll go down to 6, and the Demon will die, and John will go down to 21. Yeah, I could easily see a Flash Fire happening on this attack, but he might just hold on to it.
He does have the Flash Fire and the Flames of Furios, which is enough to take care of the Royal Escort and everything else.
If he takes another 9 on the ground, then he'll be at 12, which is safe enough. I mean, I think he can try and force Sam to do something about his board first, because it's not like Sam can just, eat an Inosaurus attack.
No, not again. I guess he could play the Priestess and then just block the Inosaurus to the 1.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's a
now, we know that John has Flash Fire and that wouldn't work, but I'm just saying, John, that's something Sam could be thinking about. He does have he has the Silver Dragon, so he's able to get rid of the Demon, gain 3 off the Royal Escort, and that really helps him here.
Right, so now
draw a card from the Silver Dragon.
John could go ahead and just clear the board before his turn starts with the Flash Fire into Flames of Furious.
This looks even better now. Yeah.
And
it would leave the
and then he'd have lethal on board
alone. Yeah. Yes, because of the 11. And that might be exactly what he does right here.
Yeah.
Sam goes to 11. This is going to be followed up by the Flames. What a powerful card that has been this weekend. Second ability, Deal 7 damage to each champion. Deal damage to each player equal to the number of champions broken in this way.
Yeah, I mean, Sam might just be forced into playing a zero-cost champion like the Scarred Cultist with just for blocking the breakthrough.
Could John have dealt 1 more damage if he had started with the Flames of Furos?
No, because then he wouldn't have killed.
Oh, no, the opposite.
He'd
You're
actually
right.
do 1 less damage.
Yes, you're right. He couldn't get the full 4 damage there.
Right.
Does leave the Priestess now open.
Priestess does get the recycle.
Yep.
So he's going to do that. Sam's also going to need to play something else. It looks like he's thinking a lot about which champions to leave because he has a Scarred Cultist in his hand.
Yep.
So.
Which ones does he need in the next turns?
I mean, he probably is not, worried about the long game value of Angel of Mercy. More about how Royal Escort helps him stabilize against the health loss, and presumably Silver Dragon draws him into more plays because his hand is empty. Personally, I'm always a big fan of Misguided Herald, but
and
that was from the recycle.
Yep.
So he spent his gold already. He could play a zero-cost card. He actually got the loyalty for the Scarred Cultist off the draw.
Wow.
So it looks like he'll be getting the Royal Escort back to his hand. And that's going to be 6 health if he plays it off turn because of the Priestess of Evangeline.
That's correct. Wow, Sam scraping something together here, even after that amnesia. And he goes and also just plays the Cave Troll.
Right.
I mean, not only defensively, but even just another, that's 11 attack in 2 zeros after both players have played their coin. So
absolutely.
That is enough those 2 zeros to trade with the Stampeding Ionosaurus. Mm-hmm. That's something John has to think about now.
Right. Yeah, but if he double blocks there and then John has a trick,
it's trouble. Yeah.
It's
a dangerous double block.
It's a dangerous double block.
And there is a Drain Essence in John's hand. So Sam will start with the Royal Escort.
Yep. And now he's presumably going to block with these 2 zero-cost champions because they can't be targeted.
Because of the Royal Escort. Yep. And
looks like he's actually just going to add the Royal Escort in there.
Right.
So right now the Ionosaurus can kill either both of the zero-cost champions or just the Royal Escort.
And Sam also wanted to gain that 6 as soon as he could from where he was sitting in life total. He was at 8, correct?
Right.
So, this is
a little awkward, mostly because the Drain Essence kind of doesn't leave him with a play to make. But if John follows up with the Veldin, he can't actually bounce the Priestess.
Yes.
So that means his options are Drain Essence now. His opponent will go down to 2. Oh, sorry, we'll lose 3 health, but the Ionosaurus still dies. So I think
he can't target the Royal Escort. He can target
the Royal Escort with the Drain Essence.
No, yes, I meant the Veldin. If he doesn't take out the Royal Escort now, which he's going to need to do.
I think if he plays the Drain Essence, he can't play the Veldin.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think what's going to happen is he's just going to kill the 2 zero-cost champions, and then he's going to play the Winter Fairy.
Yep.
That way he has on his opponent's turn, he can Drain Essence. Because if he kills the Royal Escort, then the Drain Essence is kind of awkward.
Exactly. Drain Essence, Royal Escort, off turn, and then has Veldin for the...
Right, and this is just good as long as Sam doesn't have another good card in his hand. And right now, John knows all but the card that was just drawn in Sam's hand, because he revealed the other 2 to Scarred Cultist.
Exactly.
So he knows that...
the Dirge and the...
Angel of Death.
Angel of Death.
Right.
He's got them both. There is the Drain Essence from John.
And of course, if ooh, that's interesting. I mean, I imagine if you're John, you just take the 1, right? Maybe you think a Wrath is gonna. I guess the Angel of Death is gonna happen.
He did see the Angel of Death, so that attack kind of looks like, you must have drawn an evil card then.
Sure.
So yeah, saving a point of damage there by a little heads-up play by John. Because it wasn't banished, though. Winter Fairy still drawing 2, which is usually it's baseline. It only goes up from there. So I know John really likes that card, and it's one of his favorite established
Absolutely.
champions. We've talked about it before. So
Yeah. Man, they're both presumably looking and trying to figure out what this army will even do if it gets played,
Right.
considering the graveyards right now. But on Sam's side, there's the Silver Dragon, the Scarred Cultist, the Cave Troll, and the Priestess of Angeline. And on John's side, there's the Winter Fairy, the Stampeding Inosaurus. What else got played? I think the Memory Spirit and Ankylosaurus.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
There's
all.
the Veldon. He did pick up the.
I mean, he knows what's in his opponent's hand,
Right.
so he can just, try and go for lethal here with the Go Wild.
Wow. Yeah, Sam draws 2 with the Dirge of Skara.
Sam's, yeah, I imagine
He
if
does
it's
have,
Sam,
what, Fumble and Haste Retreat in his deck, right?
right?
I don't think he found either one.
Yeah.
That's game 1 to John. But that dig there from Sam, I mean, there could have been a Haste Retreat or a Fumble, and that could have
Yeah.
stonewalled the Veldon for a turn.
Sam definitely played the best that he could. Like he made,
Oh, yeah.
definitely with the information and options that he had in his hand. I think he made the best plays, and there was a lot of turns. There was just a single line that he could take for a long point in that
Yeah.
game, and he took it.
And both of those players just they really kept up the aggression against each other.
Right.
They both had what 3 to 5 cards in their hands for most of that game.
Yeah.
Some games don't play out like that, but both of them able to assess the situation.
Yeah.
And say, well, I guess we don't have a lot of time for draw twos. And from the very beginning, we saw,
Absolutely.
like you said, a lot
Like
of
Angel of Mercy's attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You got to play differently when
And
somebody starts doing that to you.
bouncing Priestess of Angeline to prevent 6 health
Right.
from being gained.
There were all kinds of things in that game, and that's what I love about Dark Draft. I've Dark Drafted so many times, but every time I watch, I'm like, well, that scenario's never happened.
Yeah.
Or I've never seen that play together. So both of them just adapting and realizing what was happening and realizing what they needed to do to win. That trying to find that balance of aggression and keeping enough back from defense, and the games can feel like you feel safe, and then out of nowhere, all kinds of damage can be coming your way. Both players played that so well. John,
Absolutely.
Sneaking that one out. Yeah, that dig for Sam too. I mean, I don't think he played Fumble or Haste Retreat, either one of those.
No, he didn't.
And he definitely knew what he was looking for, but the
Also,
Veldon got the job
I don't
done.
know if he has any recycle, but he could also recycle the Dirge to make a demon token.
Right, if you could find any 0 with Recycle, exactly.
Yeah.
Showing the power of Dirge as well. All right, so we're about to start game 2 here, our final game of Dark Draft this weekend. As the players look at their opening hands and are deciding mulligans. That's a Citadel Raven as well for John.
Yeah,
So he has the Citadel Raven and the Memory Spirit.
Amnesia, you got
right.
some good targets for
Yeah.
Citadel Raven. I'm kind of curious now if he picked that up pretty late and he has a lot of other 0 cost events that are really powerful like that. We saw the Raxus Curse as well.
Yeah, I think he has plenty of targets. And Citadel Raven is another Memory Spirit in many ways, and that's what he can utilize it for. He also has Drain Essence. It's one of the cards I do
Right.
see people with play Memory Spirit and bring back Drain Essence.
Right.
It is one of probably the best coin targets, and something some people sometimes decide this is even more powerful than the 0. And so lots of choices for John. So 2-card mulligan for Sam, 1 for John, and he will lead off with on the play.
Never feel bad about that.
Yep,
Start.
that establishing champion of Winter Fairy. And let's get the ball rolling right away. Sam says, okay.
I can
I have surprise
I
attack.
can do that too.
A surprise attack, Misguide Herald.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
last card.
Wow.
I already thought, wow, there's a lot of good choices here. You can go with the Silver Dragon.
Silver Dragon. Like, it just kept getting better.
Right.
It was
Each
like,
one was
oh,
like,
that one's good. Oh, that one's better. Oh, that one's better.
the Steel
Steel Titan.
Turn 1, surprise attack, Misguide Herald, Steel Titan. is one incredible start. Now, John does have cards like Wave of Transformation in his deck. The problem when it's always early like this is Sam's going to be attacking next turn, and we'll see what John's able to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I think right now both Sam and John possibly writing down the 4 cards that were revealed off of Misguide Herald. Again, that's information you're welcome to write down. Those are going to the bottom. That's not stuff he's going to have.
I'm sure Sam's realizing that he's not going to have any more discard banishment because his Grave Demon's going to be on the bottom of his deck, and I believe that is the only effect that he has in his pool that does that.
Still think he's very happy here. What a start.
Yeah, he's thinking, wait a second, Ceasefire is a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in Constructed anymore. Not something you have to think about, but in Limited, the Misguide Herald.
I mean, with all the Sage cards he's seen, he might even be considering Ice Drake.
Yep, absolutely. And John takes the 13 from Steel Titan. But that was a heads-up play by Sam, too. He started to attack with the Misguide Herald. I was like, there's reasons to attack with the Steel Titan first,
Absolutely.
and he did so.
Yeah, and the advantage of attacking with Misguide Herald first is pretty low. I mean, Steel Titan's like, it's as close to unblockable as you can get.
Yes.
Without actually having, unblockable all the time.
Especially when you have the surprise attack in your deck. There's other cards you can rule out. All of the non-ambushing champions. There's very little besides an off-turn board wipe John could have done there.
I'd be surprised if Sam played anything. Yeah, he's just passing.
Yep.
As expected. Okay.
Wow, Temporal Shift.
Interesting.
It's a card we haven't seen this weekend.
Well, if John has a Wrath, has something that breaks all champions, I think now's a pretty good time to play it.
Yes. He has to choose which card he wants to banish.
He's thinking about throwing away the Revolts. Understandable. I mean, if he doesn't have a lot of good champions or token generators, which it didn't look like from the previous game, then it's going to be like a slightly better version.
And he does.
Yeah.
He does take the 13 from the Steel Titan, but he does, once it's back to his turn, once he has a coin, Rock's Displeasure, able to break all non-demon champions. And the Gudgeon from Sam.
Now I
Small
imagine.
and blockable, but.
Alright, so he's going to draw 2 here, and then presumably. Oh, so he has. Although he has an Amnesia, he can't really play it. Because even if he wanted to play it for the recycle, if he targets himself, he banishes his discard pile before he can recycle.
Right, because he can't target Sam right now.
Right, because the Gudgeon is in play. Sam's thinking pretty hard about which cards to recycle here. He has this Guard Cultist in his deck, so presumably he wants to leave the Misguide Heralds and the Steel Titan.
And the Army of the Apocalypse.
Right, and Army of the Apocalypse, yeah.
So
probably wants to leave the champions.
Yep, he left the 2 champions there.
Doesn't have Memory Spirit or anything like that, so.
Right.
Draws the Flash Fire.
Yep. Flash Fire.
Pretty nice way to clean up the board, and then.
So because it says each champion and player able to get rid of the Gudgeon, even though Sam was untargetable.
Right. He might even follow up with the Amnesia here, since he knows about those 2 cards from last game. Well, he'll probably let his opponent, make a play first.
Right.
Sam definitely setting the pace for who is going to be the one that needs to catch up.
Yes. John took a very big hit from the Steel Titan on Sam's first turn.
Yeah. Build your own Rampaging Worm.
Yep. He does block with the Winter Fairy, draws an extra card from Winter Fairy being broken, and then finishes off the Angel of Light with Consume.
Right. I would not be too surprised to see that Consume being used more, considering how low John is getting health-wise.
Yep.
So it looks like Sam attacked, got blocked, Sam passed, John played Consume, and then passed back. So it's Sam's priority, but if Sam passes, John's turn will start.
That is correct. And Sam,
It doesn't look like he has anything that he really wants to drop out.
But he doesn't
turn.
necessarily want to pass because he has, I think, a few more cards than John.
Right.
Usually
and
you don't.
way more health.
Exactly. So he was like, well, I need to keep the pressure up. And he just chooses to play a Royal Escort here. Wanting to play his coin, wanting to keep some kind of pressure on John, especially when John has less cards. And John will draw 2 with the Deadly Raid.
Looks like he picked up a Thought Plucker, yeah. Arcane Research, that's an interesting card. I'm kind of curious about what sort of things John is planning to dig for with that.
Yeah.
Now, I think with the Royal Escort, considering that Sam's best champion to play was a Royal Escort, it wouldn't be crazy for John to use the Velton and swing it. Because, I mean, yeah.
Starts with the Amnesia. And Sam pausing here, presumably to write down the cards that are being in a like a block of 5 that can be in any order, but they will be these 5 cards if the game goes long enough to get back to them, which it very well could. Just taking a second here for that. He will then take those 5 cards and randomly shuffle them. They're banished.
I mean, it's going to be really relevant if, say, the top of that stack is Misguide Heralds.
Exactly.
Because he'll know exactly what he'll be Misguide Heralding into if he draws the Misguide.
And he already recycled the surprise attack. So within a few cards, he can know if he can do the same play as he did to start the game again.
So it looks like John is going to leave the Consume because he wants to gain that health back. He wants to have as much health gain accessible to him as possible, and he knows he has Citadel Raven and Memory Spirit in his deck, at least. So, Sam's writing down some more of the Arcane Research targets here.
And even though Sam has this life total, he's very aware this game could go that long.
Absolutely. I mean, considering the most threatening play Sam had was Royal Escort on turn. He might have some trouble actually closing this, finishing off the last 14. And we know that Sam doesn't. I'm not even sure if he has any burn in his deck at all, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. Much more of the.
He's gonna have to go the long way.
Good Angel of Mercy, and then lots of evil for the. Yep, those are shuffled randomly and go to the bottom. And
all right.
This is off the Arcane Research.
Right. So
he can choose any card he wants.
Think about what plays he wants to make here. Drain Essence, yeah.
Oh, very quickly he says, "Yep, I'm looking for life gain," and I found it.
Yep.
And now Sam will write down these 4 presumably, because they will also be
lots of cards going to the bottom of the deck.
Right.
If John reaches these, I mean, he's going to have a lot of. There's going to be a lot of information about what's on both of these players' decks when they get to these cards.
Yes.
We won't know. They'll just be, various piles.
Well, it'll be like a bracket where these 5 are the next 5. I just don't know the order scenarios.
Oh, so it looks like the Royal Escort was resurrected.
There is an example where Sam has cards, and he says, "I don't really need to draw 2. I need champions," and that's exactly what he does.
Yep.
Yep. Using that second part of Resurrection, target a champion card in your discard pile that was broken this turn. Return it right back into play.
John is definitely thinking here. Oh.
And that's
there you
Memory
go.
Spirit on the Drain Essence. Yep.
As it turns out, if you keep playing events that are damage for health, it's a pretty good way to not die.
The insight.
Yeah.
No, it's incredible. You're absolutely right. And the erratic research there. Looks like the erratic research.
He used the erratic research
twice.
with the Force Mage Apprentice.
That's exactly 4 for the Memory Spirit. But before that erratic research, John was able to get the Drain Essence back.
Right. See, he might even have. I'm kind of curious to see if he might do something else. The Drain Essence, while a good answer for the Royal Escort, makes dealing with a Force Mage Apprentice isn't really something you want to just leave lying around.
Yeah. I don't see a board wipe. I don't see a board wipe in John's hand. I'm almost sure he doesn't have one. So says, I did this last time. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Drain Essence, the Royal Escort.
It's definitely going to make using Thought Plucker much more difficult.
Oh, right.
Because he's been holding onto that Thought Plucker,
And he
waiting for
kinda
the right
yeah.
turn to drop it down.
Exactly. Especially with his Force. Yeah, he's going to want that Force Mage Apprentice off of the table before he does that. He does have the Knight of the Dawn in the hand, and just saw Sam with the Dirge of Skara. So
he's like, all right, well,
he's like,
I
I'm
know
waiting
where
for
that's
you to
going.
do it, and when you do, I've got the Knight of the Dawn for it. So we could see that as well. Force Mage goes to the face. But that double Drain Essence plus the Consume, John almost back to his starting life total.
Right.
As much as Sam has, John only worried about his own life right now, and he says, I'm not going to wait for that Dirge of Skara. I'm
Right.
also just attacking for 6
Yeah.
before I've played my coin. Now,
He's holding on to the Heinous Feast because his opponent, Sam, knows about the Amnesia, but doesn't know he has another discard banishment tool. So hopefully he's trying to get him to spend a turn playing the Angel of Light at some point.
right.
And then he can snag the whatever the good card is, and use the discard pile out from there. And ironically, it looks like it's going to be the evil token killing the Knight of the Dawn.
Yeah, the fumble making it a negative 4/3 until the end of turn, and that 4/4 from the Dirge of Skara. Demon token revenge against the Knight of the Dawn.
Yeah.
Doesn't usually happen like this. But I agree. He's valuing the Heinous Feast as an angel of.
So before blocks, he's going to deal 5 to all of Sam's champions and draw a card. I really like that use of that.
He was looking to get the Force Mage Apprentice off anyways. This also might open up the Thought Plucker. And then Sam feels safe.
Yeah, he's like,
But
oh, now.
John's patience paid off. Still has the Heinous Feast, and Sam thinks, I've already got the Amnesia out of his hand. And I'm going to be able to get my Royal Escort back. But
John's like, oh, yeah, you've gotten my Knight of the Dawn.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main reason for doing it right away. But
it should be this Heinous Feast that stops the Royal Escort from coming back into play. John plays it right away.
Yep. Almost back up to his starting health.
Yeah.
After taking 16 on turn 1, or turn 2, effectively.
From the Steel Titan and
he's already way back up to
Potato.
27.
Consume, Drain Essence, and Heinous Feast doing work for John. In limited and constructed.
Yeah. He actually just shuffled up his constructed deck. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Time to play some draft.
And Sam writing down the 5 cards that are being Heinous Feast. Sam meticulously making sure that he knows at least the clumps of cards that are coming, and try to plan ahead once he recognizes that he draws a card from that clump. No,
I mean, based on health totals and the offense of Sam's average champion, I wouldn't be too surprised if the game got to that point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that Angel of Mercy's not getting any value anytime soon, so it should just be getting in there.
It's like a Fires of Rebellion. Deal 7 to the Angel and draw a card.
It's reasonable. I mean, you don't want a Thought Plucker when there's an Angel of Mercy staring you down.
Right. Don't want to give him the option. Looks like
Sam's looking at his
Haste
cards.
Retreat, Force Lance, Banishment, Zombie Apocalypse, Army of the Apocalypse, Inner Demon.
Lots of ways to draw cards, but
he did pick
he's
up.
He's looking to see if John actually has any champions in the discard pile, and he does. He has the Knight of the Dawn. So,
Sam draws 2 with the army.
yep. And looks like the cave troll is probably going to come down.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's going to be a lot harder for John to remove that cave troll from play.
Right, because of the both Amnesia and Heinous Feast being used, but I think he's happy to have gotten the
And he
Angel of
has
Mercy
value
off.
out of both.
Yes, and be able to get the Angel of Mercy out of the way without having to deal with the recursion. He also has the Temporal Enforcer in his hand, which could keep bouncing the Cave Troll.
Right.
That would be a good target for it.
Yeah.
Tough decision here, though.
Yeah, he definitely he has a couple of options. Even if he plays one of his Sage cards, he can still drop the Temporal Enforcer later. He's got Veldin. He has I think that's a Wave Transformation. He could yeah, it does look like he's going to go with the Veldin here. Oh, it's a Force Fields.
Right.
Or it's a Teleport, actually. Or no, it's a Force
No,
Fields.
Force Field. Force Field.
All right.
Revealing it for the Veldin.
Yeah.
Loyalty X and that Cave Troll back in Sam's hand.
A couple champions are big enough that you don't really need to worry too much about.
So Sam took the 10.
Yeah, I don't need to really worry too much about not attacking with them because there's not a whole lot of ambush that makes your attacking with your 10-13 unprofitable.
Yep. The Avenger of the Covenant taking care of the Veldin after Sam had taken the 10, and forward advantage back to Sam.
Yeah. I mean, when you have, as much health as you want to throw away, Avenger of the Covenant becomes a lot better.
Right.
And you just, I'll just take 10.
Seemed fine.
I'll play
like
my Ambush Palace Guard. Yeah.
It's like a very good play for Sam.
Yeah. Unfortunately, John Tatian has run out of Drain Essences.
He still has the Citadel Raven. We could see another.
Yeah.
We could see another
Is it
one.
still in his discard pile? It is still in his discard pile.
Yep. we could see a third Drain Essence.
There's
this
still
game from
Memory
John.
Spirit. For all we know, John's gonna,
Who knows?
Necromancer Lord it back into play or something. Yeah. All right, so the 8's coming in. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Thinking about, it's tough. I think that's a really difficult decision to make. Well, I should say, I would have a really hard time returning the Avengers back to the hand just because Sam has so much health to play with.
Right.
It's almost definitely going to be an ambush Palace Guard again.
Yes.
But,
Be weary of attacking with my Temporal Enforcer now, knowing.
Right. Yeah.
But
then you have to get it out of the hand at some point.
Yep.
You know? And
so a temporary answer for John to just not take the damage there, possibly even get another 6 damage in on Sam before the Avenger comes back out.
right. So now maybe Sam will play the Inner Demon here and the Cave Troll, and that will, reduce the number of cards in hand. He doesn't have a lot of answers, so that would be a nice reason to have more cards like Inner Demon, but
Yes.
You're going to want to get rid of an unblockable champion at some point.
Yeah, I like the Inner Demon as well.
Yeah.
Sam has lots of draw twos, lots of cards in hand, and Inner Demon becomes, in a way, a tiny Medusa.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting here. He decides to. Yeah. Okay. So John has the Quell to clear off this board, and then he can stop worrying about the Cave Troll.
Yep. Very strong.
It looks like he actually just drew the new Gareth's Juggernaut.
Yes.
So
I think he has loyalty
and
as
he has
well.
loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He just played the Temporal Enforcer, so he definitely has loyalty.
Yes.
But not a great board to attack into with a
Rift Summoner.
Juggernaut.
With the loyalty. Very strong ambush champion. Gareth Juggernaut, one of the new cards from Pantheon. Loyalty 2 Blitz, and the allied ability to gain Unbreakable this turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gareth's makes the Juggernauts a bit more breakable. Sadly. But at least they're cheap to produce.
Right.
John's definitely thinking a lot about how he's going to deal with these Rift Summoners in the upcoming turns and how he wants to plan out his attack. He could, for example, just play the Gareth Juggernaut so that he can block a single attacking demon token.
Looks like he chose not to. Went to Sam's turn, and Sam is coming in with the
Force Field.
I think he used Force Field. Is it the only card with 3 abilities right now?
I believe
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a really unique card. Has that draw too, but I think John just used the
middle
second,
function.
the middle ability, -5, -0, and draw a card.
Exactly.
Which was the perfect mode against this Rift Summoner.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise he's taking 8. John's really weary about taking any damage right now, it looks like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to Rax's Displeasure his way out of this one, so he's probably going to want to...
He needs a different board wipe.
Yeah. He's probably going to want to look for... I guess he already used the fires to draw 2.
Yes, I think he has Wave of Transformation in his hand, though.
Right.
I don't think he's played Flash Fire this game, so that could be a 2-card combo to reset this board. Rift Summoner, one of the most powerful aggressive cards for Sam in a deck that has a lot of draw 2s and ways of answering threats. This is one of Sam's best threats, and it is putting a lot of pressure on John. He does have that wave at the top of his deck or hand right now.
Sam's thinking, I don't really want to invest more into this board.
Exactly, and I don't need to draw cards.
Yep.
What do I do?
Well, you should probably just draw cards.
Yeah.
I mean, considering how this game has gone so far, I would probably use the Dark Offering to draw 2.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe option. Maybe he wants to hold on to it so he can activate the loyalty on the Scarred Cultist.
Like Sam.
Looking at discard piles. Has a Scarred Cultist, has Zombie Apocalypse. Wants to see how many champions will be able to come out of there.
That's what he was doing just there, you're right.
Yeah, I think you want to go for the Dark Offering to draw 2.
That's exactly what he does. Yeah, recognizing this is the best thing I'm going to do with it. That was a good pickup for Sam. That's the Grave Demon. So we have gone through the deck since the opening Misguide Herald now. Sam just drew Grave Demon.
Oh, right.
That was in the 5 Misguide Herald with the Steel Titan. So we're getting close to getting back to that.
Right. So this is their first shuffle. Score is 32 to 27.
I have been in this situation where writing down the cards is relevant, and I
imagine all of the cards you wrote down will be relevant because at this point, I mean,
right. I mean, what we're getting close to is, I believe, within the next few draw steps, Sam is going to draw the surprise attack. If Misguide Herald is at the front of that pack, or in front of the Steel Titan, he'll be able to do the exact play he did before.
Right,
he's able to surprise attack Misguide Herald, knowing Steel Titan will be one of those 5 cards. So he can actually set up a Misguide Herald, knowing what he's going to hit.
Yeah.
It's not something you can usually do, but...
All right, so let's see. John has to think a lot about his discard pile now that he has Citadel Raven in his hand.
Third Drain Essence.
He can get Force Field, Quell, Drain Essence for, again, Fires of Rebellion, Heinous Feast. What's that green card? The wild 1 cost. That's
Draka's Fire.
Draka's Fire,
Yeah.
right? Draka's Fire. Draka's Fire would be quite good here.
It would.
Right.
Yeah, it may not be Drain Essence. Draka's Fire would be very good in this board state. Interesting enough, Citadel Raven in John's hand, but Grave Demon in Sam's hand. So we'll see if John pulls the trigger on the Citadel Raven before Sam finds the time to play that Grave Demon. Especially with John taking all this time and looking at his discard pile. If I'm Sam, I'm thinking,
I gotta get rid of that.
I should get rid of that discard pile, and I've got the Grave Demon to do it.
Yeah. Still thinking. He's got Garrus Juggernaut, the Raven, Bitten. He's got the Thought Plucker, Rain of Fire, and I think what's that on the far end? Is that a Sea Hydra? No, that's a Lash. It's a Lash
That
and a
Lash,
Wave
yeah.
of Transformation.
Yeah, he's had that Lash for a while as well. John really taking his time here.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to play the Garrus Juggernaut and then probably one of the Citadel Raven after that.
Right, before attacking.
Right. He'll reveal the Thought Plucker
Yes.
and the Citadel Raven and then play the Citadel Raven.
Strange if he doesn't reveal the Citadel Raven. There it is.
Yeah, he's like, oh, wait a second.
He almost revealed the Thought Plucker and the Wave. But yeah, there it is. There's the Citadel Raven. And
He might be wanting to play the Thought Plucker.
he could.
But
That is what he does
Okay.
decide to go with. Which could be the opening for Sam to Grave Demon John's discard pile. Rendering that Citadel Raven with nothing to do for
I'm
at
sure
least a
Sam
while.
is like, oh no, and I don't have a Dark Offering to discard. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Dark Offering, let's be honest.
It can be very hard to pull off. So.
Yeah. I know some people have had their fantastic moments with
Yes,
it, but
yeah, just like Army of the Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
So Sam deciding to discard the Hasty Retreat.
right. Yeah, I mean, based on what we've seen from the previous games,
Right.
the main thing you don't want Hasty retreated against is Veldin.
Veldin, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's
that's-
seen nearly all of John's deck at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
And Veldin's, I think, right at the bottom.
And there's that moment. So John did have a moment to play the Citadel Raven. He was deciding between that and the Thought Plucker. He goes with Thought Plucker, and Sam says, especially after all that time you took, I am playing this Grave Demon as fast as I can. And now, because of
we gotta
the
write all these
nature of
cards
this
down.
game and what we're all playing for, we're going to take a moment for Sam to write down what he's just Grave Demoned. I think we're going to take a picture to save time.
Oh, that might be helpful, considering that this might happen a couple more times. I mean, not necessarily with Grave Demon,
And you
but
may think, well,
there are 3 discard banishments effects.
I think John's also John just stepped out for a moment, go to the restroom, take a little water break.
Yes.
This,
I mean,
it does save time. I mean,
Yeah.
Sam takes a photo here.
I mean, he has the time now. He might as well just write it down if he likes.
Right. Either way, though, that pile from Grave Demon will be shuffled randomly onto the bottom of John's deck. But Sam, when the first one of those is drawn, he now has a sense of, okay, this is the stack that we're back to. And all of what Sam has written down before is becoming relevant. I mean,
Yeah.
John is about to get back to the beginning of his deck. Sam just did. Partially because of cards like Misguide Herald and Arcane Research,
Yeah.
which are helping filter through these decks even faster
It's
as
a good
well.
thing that Sam picked that Grave Demon up.
Oh yeah. So right,
Or
well,
that would
actually,
be a very big deal.
That's a really, really great point. Because John has the Heinous Feast and the Amnesia, if Sam didn't have Grave Demon, I think this game would almost be over. John would have
Yeah.
very close to have won the game by going to draw the last card in his.
Or does he also have Erratic Research?
Sam, actually, he might.
Right.
He might. So he did end up picking up 2, but
Right.
because both players have
Yeah.
multiple effects, that's
Yeah.
not how this game is going to end.
It's true.
This is going to end through damage, and I guess there's just it's going to be slow and steady until somebody finds the set of cards or the combination of cards
Right.
that hasn't been there before.
I mean, we could have situations like this where eventually just an army of demons without a reasonable response can be good enough.
Exactly. Because of the randomization of the banishment, there could be a time where John just doesn't have a board wipe or Sam doesn't have a board wipe.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to get back to this Steel Titan, which could be, is probably, I would say right now, at least in Sam's deck, the biggest threat besides this Rift Summoner, and something that he knows is getting close to again. And John has to have some kind of a board wipe ready.
Yeah.
Sam also taking. Sam just
Reasonable.
passing through our room and just a bit of a chuckle as he also takes a break. I just want to take this moment to congratulate the Boston Celtics for winning 15 games in a row.
Good job, guys.
No, I'm just a big basketball fan. I wanted to say it sometime on stream, but if we are here in Boston, so I gotta let for all the people out there. Yeah, I'm just a big basketball fan, but. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't watch basketball, CJ?
No,
No,
not really.
okay.
Sadly.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There's John.
Unfortunately, it looks like the duck has been removed.
Yeah, where are our ducks?
Well, sometimes it can be hard, when friends are sitting on the sidelines, but it's just if stuff gets really grueling, they just have to take their own breaks. So
Yeah,
I'm sure.
the rubber duckies are on a break right now.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I know this might seem strange. I would love to be in this game. This is just so much fun.
Well,
it's just like it's just trying to find the way through.
Right. Yeah. I mean, basically, it's there's a bunch of opportunities to attempt. To make a better play. It's like there's a bunch of opportunities where you have lots of lines. You have lots of different routes or paths that you can attempt, and you have to quickly determine what actually is the best thing that I can do.
And again, there's so many good plays, but where's the great one? And where's the way to get through? Or where's the combo? And
how do I use these cards? It's way more interesting than, this is the best, this is the only real play, and this is the only real play, and this is the only real play, and then I either win or I lose.
Exactly. Sam, getting back to the table here. So, the Grave Demon's banishment is finished. Mm-hmm. We go to Sam's turn. He draws a card. And Sam starts by attacking with a demon token. So, I mean, Sam he's ahead on board. And let's see what he can do. He rift summoned one of his most powerful threats.
He's a lot more than just a tiny bit ahead on board. He's got a whole army ahead on board.
And the Garrus Juggernaut blocks a demon, but before damage, Rift Summoner turns it into 2 demons that cannot attack this turn. He did decide to wait. He attacked before activating that Rift Summoner, and was able to get an extra demon out of it. Or an extra attack.
Right. I think John's really considering this Rain of Fire here. If, and it may come back to bite him that he didn't Rain of Fire as soon as possible.
Right.
Because if, say, the first demon came in, and then he Rain of Fired right away to clear off those 2, then he could block the demon that was attacking. He would have 2 less demons.
2 less demons, you're right. So John, with the Revolt, using its 0, not as a draw 2, to have a 1/1 chump blocker there.
Right.
Against
3/1.
3/1.
And now has 5 health.
No, actually super relevant with the Rain of Fire. You're absolutely right. Banishment from Sam.
Although I wouldn't be too shocked if, at this point, John was more looking for a way to clear the board.
Right.
Considering that, removing a couple of minions from the board isn't exactly...
Right. That's not going to do it anymore. A draw 2, what a pickup.
Yeah.
Flames of Furos. Now, unfortunately, didn't have it in his hand when the Grave Demon had the damage on it, but still,
so
I would be very happy to see this.
He might be forced to end up using the Flash Fire there.
Right.
But if he attacks, if he is going to use the Flames of Furious this turn, so I guess what I see happening is presumably he'll do something that isn't attack, and then he'll use the Flames of Furious on Sam's turn to get the most out of his off-turn gold. And because there's both the chance of the Juggernaut blocking the Grave Demon and the Rift Summoner potentially making more demons
Right,
before
which would
he
be
gets to
even more damage against Sam.
Exactly.
And we'll see. That's one of the reasons to attack with Sam, starting with the demons, trying to play that or attack with that Grave Demon last if possible, because of what
Right.
Garrus Juggernaut could do, especially because Sam wrote down Flames of Heroes earlier, I believe. I think that's a card he's seen
Looks
already.
like he might be going for it right away, though.
Sam counting John's deck.
Looking to figure out which pile he's in.
Right.
So
And looking at his notes
Right.
to find out where we are.
Interestingly enough, if he, for some reason, he didn't want to play the Flames of Furious, he could also clear with Flashfire, Citadel Raven, Flashfire, Lash. The Guild Demon, the Grave Demon would remain, but
Wow. Yeah.
he's just going to lash into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lash to deal that 1 damage to the Grave Demon, finish it off, and everything else off with the Flames of Furos on this turn. That's a full board clear. Sam's going to take 6.
Oh, Sam didn't block the 5/5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even better for John.
Yeah. And that Flames of Furious, that was what, 4 demon tokens, Rift Summoner, and Grave Demon?
Yeah. 6. Plus the 5 from the Juggernaut.
Slightly
Or the
bigger
Juggernaut.
Lightning Storm.
Yeah. I can't say Juggernaut. I have to say Gareth's Juggernaut.
Right.
Juggernaut's a different card. Be careful. And there's the Avenger of Covenant.
Junior Juggernaut.
Nice. I like it. New name. But Sam ambushing in that threat after
Oh,
the
yeah.
Flames. So
Yeah, I
Avenger
mean,
of Covenant still just that 8/8 ambush. Not as strong as Lurking Giant in this scenario, but still a threat.
Good.
Right?
Yeah,
it's just a powerful thing to do off turn.
it's good to realize when you can just play your champions. I mean, we saw this last game. He just dropped his Angel of Mercy
Yeah.
as a 4/5 with Airborne and Ambush. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was really close to being exactly what you needed.
John is going to Arcane Research here.
It looks like he is doing just enough to dig through the pile that the Arcane Researcher's in.
Right. So there's a chance he knows the exact number he wants to reach for the card he wants here, if he's been writing it down correctly. We haven't
Right.
been writing it down here in the booth, but he
Yeah.
very well knows exactly what he's looking for here.
Yeah.
Which is not usually when you're Arcane Research. So there are 3. And those are the 3.
Well, maybe I believe there were 5 tucked away in the Arcane Research, and the Arcane Research is one of them. So there are 4 left.
Yes.
But since one of them was the Amnesia, if he draws the Amnesia, if he doesn't draw the card that he wants, he can just play the Amnesia to get to the last one.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was shaking my head. I just realized nobody could see
Yeah.
me. I was like, yeah, that's incredible. So,
Right, and then he leaves exactly enough so that the Lash doesn't get removed from his graveyard.
exactly. Just in case there's a turn. There's the
So
Amnesia.
let's see what the card he drew was that he was really looking for. Oh, is it a Winter Fairy?
Winter Fairy, I believe that is the full back to the beginning. He may have just been looking for Amnesia there.
Oh.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he has an answer right now for Avenger, but to save time, Sam is going to take this second photo.
I'm not sure
Again.
if he's going to have enough space in his camera for this game.
So, again, to save time, because of the Grave Demons, the Erratic Researches, the Amnesias, the Heinous Feasts, and wanting to know when the cards are coming back up.
My guess is he was looking for Drain Essence. That would be the perfect answer to Avenger.
Yeah, it's lower. I don't know exactly where it is, but I do think it's in maybe at least 5, if not more, further down. I'm not sure, though. I'm sure there's somebody at home right now, one of you guys
Like,
out there,
oh my
who are
God.
who have been following and writing it down, and you're
Yeah.
like, it's 7, or it's 4 away. Like, we don't have that at this time, but it is exciting to see what these two guys have been doing. Using everything they can to try to find what they're looking for.
Drawing
And
2
draw
now.
2 with Flashfire. Picking up the Stampeding Ionosaurus and the Go Wild. Actually, that is the second threat I would maybe want the Hasty Retreat for. Sam decided
That's true.
to
Hasty
discard.
Retreat's very good against Stampeding Ionosaurus.
And that was something that Sam discarded to the Thought Plucker a little while ago.
And Sam's hand is a lot worse without any discard pile. Since he can't
Right.
use the Force Sense or the discard
Yes.
boost, really.
Yeah.
But presumably after the 8 hits, Sam's going to play the Silver Dragon because, I mean, there's nothing else to play.
He also has a Dark Knight in his hand.
He can fling out the Dark Knight, but I think considering that he's going to be playing the Silver Dragon this turn,
Yeah.
it's best not to overload too much on the board.
Right.
What did John end up getting with the? Oh, right, you took the Amnesia.
Yep.
That's
So
right.
Sam just drew the surprise attack. I believe within 1 or 2 cards, it's Misguide Herald, Steel Titan.
Right.
That we are very close to from the first recycle after.
I'm pretty sure
surprise attack.
Steel Titan and Misguide got shuffled together.
Yes,
So that means he might draw the Steel Titan first.
he might. John, using Wave of Transformation here. Those are banished. Sam will quickly write those down.
Only 2 cards this time, so
Yes.
not too bad. Not too bad.
No need for a photo. Though I agree, taking the photo is just faster than writing them all down. And
Oh yeah.
And
If
we-
you have 10 cards, I mean.
yeah, so 2 cards down, and we should get a couple wolves here in a second.
Oh yeah, and don't forget we have Angel of Lights, and Priestess and Royal Escort and Priestess Evangeline. So
Yes, from Sam's side.
21 is not necessarily 21.
Yeah. How long would the game have to go
Right.
before we say, well, maybe no one will ever win this game, and we'll just play 4 games of Constructed? Just out of curiosity, I'm just joking. 3,
I mean,
4 hours?
I
No.
think. I think it definitely.
It will
so
end.
look, he
It
did
will
actually
end.
know. He surprise attacked, and the Misguide Herald was next.
Yeah,
He drew it, he played it, and then
Yes, this
he
is
flipped
exactly-
into the Steel Titan.
So, if you were watching at the beginning of Game 2, you may have seen Surprise Attack into Misguide Herald into Steel Titan. Sam actually knew he could do it this time, and that's
Right.
exactly what it looks like he's doing here.
Well, let me say, it does not look good for John here, based
Yeah.
on what I see in his hand. It looks like his off-turn play is going to be Rain of Fire or Draw 2.
Yep.
And
And it looks like the pressure of the Avenger and the Silver Dragon were just enough to where John needed to wave
right.
the turn before the Steel Titan came in, which is when he needs
Right,
a
he
board
needs to
wipe,
wave.
and
Yeah,
he doesn't
that's
have
true.
it. Yeah.
Surprisingly, Steel
right,
Titan.
Right, write those down. Sam's just going to quickly write those 4 cards down, but I agree with you. Just like it did at the very beginning of the game, where
Right.
it got 16 damage in,
Yep.
it's looking really powerful here as well.
This is actually just a really long mini game in between when the Steel Titans hit John.
Yeah, it's basically the Steel Titan that won game 2. Just and the same Steel Titan. It wasn't a different one. It was just
Yeah,
It
it
just took a
came
while
back.
to finish the job.
Yeah. It's kind of like Scar's Gift.
This does feel somewhat like that incredible game 3 between John and Mike.
Oh yes.
What card is Steel Titan most like? Brock, no. Scar's Gift.
Exactly. It's recurring. 13
Yes.
damage.
Okay, we have the Ankylosaurus from John. And back to Sam. And I mean, he go wild for the recycle, digging a little bit, but I do not believe
Does he have Brave Squire?
he
That actually would not be enough. Or actually, no, it wouldn't be enough.
draws 2, and Steel Titan is 13. So
Same,
even though he
same
drew the
consume,
consume,
yeah.
it's still exactly lethal. And that is the end of game 2. Bit of smiles, and both of them just like that's
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. That's Dark Draft.
Yeah.
And that is.
Well, I can't say I've ever seen
Well,
that before.
Well, I haven't seen that necessarily on stream, but I know I have been in a few Dark Draft games that have actually gone that
Just
long.
like had one threat
Both
that-
of those players had drafted very equally powerful decks with Righteous, with Gain Life,
Yeah.
with very few Blitz Punishers.
Absolutely.
Lots of draw twos, lots of removal, board
Right.
wipes. And so what happened was they both their decks just kind of
control games.
Control back
Boom.
up against each other, and it took a
Yeah.
long time, and it was that pickup of Steel Titan from Sam early in the draft that
Right.
did win him game 2. So 1-1, still a best of 5. First 1 to 3 wins. We're going to play at least 2 games of
Right,
constructed, maybe
yeah.
3, against with Sam Black on his Wild Sage mid-range deck, and we've got John on his Scar's Gift Xanos Evil deck. And it looks like, let me ask real quick. Okay, so let's take a small break. Maybe go to us and then we'll take a, yeah. All right. Yep. So that was the end of our dark draft portion of the finals. We are actually going to take a small break before we go into the constructed, but we will be right back with Game 3 of the finals of the Epic World Championships here in Boston. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
All
Stick
right.
tight. All right, welcome back. I'm Colin Bevis. I'm here with CJ Moynihan, the lead developer of Pantheon, and we are about to start the constructed portion of the finals here at the World Championships for Epic Card Game. That was a really intense game too, very close.
Yeah.
We leave the last dark draft 1-1, so best of three. First one here in constructed to win 2 games. This was within 1 card, the matchup we saw John against Mike Segrist. Sam Black playing that Wild Sage deck. 1 card difference. He has 1 calling instead of 2 and a Fiery Demise in that spot. Besides that, same list as Mike Segrist. John with his Scar's Gift deck. So both players, we took a bit of a water break, and we are ready to go here. So I know we saw 1 game that was incredibly close against Mike Segrist. Is that John's strategy every game against this deck? What else do you think he can do?
Well, I mean, basically, sometimes the Xanos or the Plentiful Dead or the Rift Summoner. Yeah, those 3 are the other, they generate a lot of things at the same time and basically demand an answer from the wild deck without actually overextending too much.
Yeah, and John does have that 1 Plentiful Dead. We didn't see that against Mike, but that could be play an integral part in finding a path to victory. Plentiful Dead, just like Scar's Gift, able, if you're willing to play it and then have that evil coin ready, never really in the discard pile long enough for Sam to use one of his 3 amnesias against it.
And I mean, you can always get into the issue where just something sticks and you just keep following.
The leading on some kind of early lead on either side. So, for example, like there could just be a Medusa that like a T-Rex plays on turn 1, and then John follows up with a Medusa, and the Medusa just keeps swinging in and doesn't get answered properly because as we've seen, it can be difficult for Sam's deck to really answer individual cards properly. Its main strength is playing huge threats and then efficiently dealing with smaller stuff, basically.
Right, with Wolf Spites and
Flame Spike, and Lightning Strike.
Something else that we didn't see against Mike. John has a 1 of Steed of Zaltessa.
Yes.
Another new card from Pantheon. Tell us about that card and what you think it could possibly do in this matchup.
Well, the main advantage to Steed of Zaltessa is that it just represents 11 damage at will. So I imagine that if it's in John's hand, he's going to save it for that kind of finishing round. Like we saw in the previous game with John, that he really, the beginning when they were hitting each other with their airborne champions, the Angel of Death was just taken out as soon as possible. It was like 3 cards, I think. It was Wolf Spite, and Flame Strike all spent on it. And the main reason for that is because the health of Sam's health is going to matter a lot more than John's health.
Yes.
Sam can't recoup his health. John has lots of ways to recoup his health. And a lot of the strategy behind John's deck is going to be that
actually, I believe the opponents they're looking through each other's decks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It looks a little strange right now. I thought the same thing. They are actually looking through each other's deck. They have the deck lists available, but instead of maybe saying, hey, can we get these real quick, they just decided, hey, let's look through them.
That's a good way. Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, so that's what he's looking at right now, the Steed of Valtessa. The main thing about it is that because it represents 11 and because the only answer for 0 that Sam has is the, muses that can jump. And let's be honest, Sam's probably not going to be, holding on to those muses for a long time.
Right.
The Steed is just going to be a way to close the game if you're at a point where Sam's health starts getting low from a gift or from a zombie token that's beating in.
So if it's any indication of how close that game was against Mike, the starting with mulligans is the Scar's Gift clock, and we will see what Sam is able to put together, because we will most likely, just as Mike did, see Sam preserve his life total at all costs.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said also for Plentiful Dead, but generally more just using one or a couple and only really building up the number of zombies you have when you're going to use a huge Dark One's Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to worry about Draka, basically, and Skaros.
Yes.
So those things can still come out and blow you out. So you don't want to invest a lot of health
Right.
into Plentiful Dead.
Right.
And just use it, for blocks and things like that. But if you can clear the board, or if you can just no one has their gold spent and just hit for 2 with Plentiful Dead, it's kind of, it's like using using Scar's Gift itself.
Absolutely. So 2 Draka, Dragon, Tyrant, and 2 Scaros, Hound of Draka on Sam's side. Those are the 4 coins that you could see to help Sam clear away.
And Hurricane, of course, too.
And the one of Hurricane, that's right. All right, both players have shuffled up. And so, looks John lost game 2, so it's his choice. Probably will choose to be on the draw to start here.
Yes,
Game 3.
especially in this type of deck.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of other card games, competitive play, usually choosing to draw to play first, to be the first one. But with Epic being on the draw, because the player on the play does not draw a card, your ambush champions are often the first ones to attack.
Right. Exactly.
You're actually the aggressor on the draw in many ways.
Also, sometimes if you don't have a good play going first, you're going to end up passing, which means that
Right.
if you're second, then you just have the extra card in your hand.
Right. You start with 6 cards, and
Right.
you're basically on the play.
Right. But the main advantage is
Right.
that if you do have a good establishing play, then you can set yourself up really well to
Yes.
be the leader.
And with Sam on the play here, a card like Raging T-Rex would be exactly that card that Sam would usually be very happy to play to start the game. And we'll see here what he has.
Yeah.
Looks
It's like 2 Smash and Burns, a Scaros, an Ancient Chant, and a Surprise Attack.
So we see, could see a pass, could see a draw too, depending on how he thinks John might be able to punish him, or how many ambush punishers John has. I think we'll see a pass, but we could see a draw too from Sam. He's deciding it right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for playing that Smash and Burn right away, setting up a threat, and enabling your Surprise Attack next turn, because...
Exactly.
Neither of these players... Well, I should say, I can't see...
Yes, and Sam passes. He didn't have an establishing champion. John just says, okay, draws a card, and then plays his small establishing champion in Gudgeon. Still a strong, unblockable 2-1. And
Relevant is that the Gudgeon actually stops Scaros, because Scaros is target player. So Sam cannot play Scaros until... I mean, he can. It'll be an 11-11.
Right.
So I guess what he's going to do here is set up that Smash and Burn, so that he can get rid of that Gudgeon, because the Gudgeon's going to be a hassle. It also prevents amnesia and, anything else going straight to the face.
And it's a 2-1.
Yeah.
And every damage is going to matter for Sam.
2-1, and it's unblockable.
Yep. And wow. So John using the Guilt Demon. How many Guilt Demons? 2 Guilt Demons. So John has 2 Guilt Demon in his deck. And it seems very good in this matchup.
Right.
Getting rid of the Smash and Burn, hitting Sam for 3.
Scaros says target. Doesn't Scaros? Can you pull up?
Not.
Can you?
Maybe. Not. I don't remember the wording exactly. Let's see here.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Deal X damage to target player and to each of their champions. So, I do not believe that. I'm not sure how that works actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
don't think you can do Scaros when...
Is this
There's a
where
Gudgeon in
he can choose where the Gudgeon is gone before the damage is dealt because it happened at the same time?
Right.
Okay.
All right. It just looks like that situation does not come up very often.
Right. And that was something we did say here, but so Sam
Yeah, I always remember that one of the best ways,
yeah.
because you always think one of the best ways to get rid of an opponent's Gudgeon is to use an effect that damages all of their champions.
Right.
Oh,
But in this
Scarus
case,
is perfect.
In this place, it does say target player.
Right.
Sam, not able to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Pyrosaur does work. Pyrosaur says opponent's champions, and also Draka works because Draka says that the defending player controls. So
Right.
basically everything but Scarus works.
Right. That keyword in target player. So instead, Sam goes for the draw 2 on Ancient Chant.
Right. Yeah,
And-
going to need to actually remove the Gudgeon before playing Scarus to get rid of it. Yeah.
Right.
Here comes the little spite. That's going to draw 2 for Sam. Oh, it looks like he's undoing that.
Oh. Okay.
Right. So
He
I
is
can't
able
imagine.
to take it back
Yeah.
quickly because no information was gained or lost. He just says, "Wait, I'm gonna."
Maybe he's thinking, "Oh, I'll just eat it with my Drakus Enforcer," but I don't know. Oh, he's deciding to Flame Spike the Guild Demon instead of the Gudgeon. It's reasonable. Right. So, I mean, the nice thing about the Gudgeon is that it's unblockable. So, if it doesn't get removed, it's just going to continue to clock,
Yeah.
like another version of
Scar's
of
gift.
Scar's Gift. Yeah.
Very, very rarely you see the Gudgeon getting into.
You see this. You
the
see
red
this
zone.
whole deck is all about dealing tiny amounts of chip damage. I mean,
Yes.
the biggest hit.
I guess it's
is
the one
a-
of Steed, right? I mean,
Well, it's like Angel of Death and Medusa, but
Right.
those things don't tend to actually get in very often. They're
Yeah.
usually just enough to provoke your opponent into removing them because,
Exactly.
most decks are going to have some removal, and they're really not going to have anything else to point it at.
okay. So all in all,
So the same thing happens,
Same result in the sense of
but Sam decides to wait a little bit.
Right. Wolf's Bite gets rid of the Gudgeon. He did draw 2 there because of the Ancient Chant in his discard pile.
Right. So the reason that he waited was because he didn't want to have to discard the maximum hand size. early.
Exactly.
All right. So it's currently John's turn. He has a gold, but nothing that he really wants to spend it on turn. I mean, he could erase the. I could see an erase on the wolf token happening, but I don't imagine.
Looks like
looks like he's
another
just
guilt.
gonna go
This is
straight
the
for it.
second guilt demon.
Right. So once he runs, I mean, keep in mind that John's deck has a lot of discard banishment, and he has the Heinous Feast in his hand, so he's not too worried about direct
Right.
targeted banishment right now.
I just
But,
meant as their aggression for him.
Right,
Right.
yeah. I know a lot of people don't think about it, but the nice thing here is that worst case scenario, you can erase your own champion. You
Yes.
can erase the guild demon to get some value in.
Yeah. So a surprise attack into Misguide Herald.
Right.
And it looks like the Raging T-Rex or Brachiosaurus are the coin choices here for
Right.
Sam.
Now, the advantage to this play is for Sam is that the Misguide Herald represents something that's good enough to stop the Guild Demon,
Yep.
but also you don't really want to spend resources getting rid of a Misguide Heralds.
Yeah. This is a very good surprise attack for Sam. Also, just to make sure he doesn't take the 3 from the Guild Demon. And
Think about to pull. I mean, he has nearly a full grip, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Brachiosaurus coming out.
but
it
because
does
it's
look
his
like.
opponent's turn, he can't do the Brachiosaurus into the other Brachiosaurus that's in his hand.
Oh, right. Does he not have another play to follow it up?
I'm not saying he doesn't. I just think that he wasn't able to do like the.
He does have to actually reveal 2 for the.
I think he did.
Right, because his opponent knows about.
He also revealed the 5 off the Scaros. I mean, he knows at least.
Yeah. It's gentleman's. All right, so. Right, so yeah, the erase is going to go onto
Right.
T-Rex.
and erase. Even stronger when your opponent is going to have to discard back down to 7 anyways. Like, it's not like Sam is low on cards and erasing that T-Rex is going to really help him get back into it. That erase is...
Interesting. So, yeah, John is really aggressively attacking the discard pile here. I guess Sam's now going to test. He's like, okay, well, you didn't have an answer for my Misguide Herald, so you probably don't have an answer for my Muse here.
Yeah, and Sam comes in with the Muse, followed by the Wolf token. That Muse drew him an extra card, and
John's not really looking to play the Rift Summoner. We're in a kind of a bizarre situation here because John's seen a lot of what Sam has in his hand.
Right. And here comes the Fire Shaman, followed by the Brachiosaurus. 3 damage to John, but Sam still has his coin up.
Right. He's probably going to pass here.
Yeah. When you're head on board and you play Brachiosaurus, the pass is what often happens. Putting a lot of pressure on John. If he draws 2, there could be as much as 11 damage from Strafing Dragon. John needs to decide what he wants to do, and if he does want to just go to his turn.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess he has wave. Oh, he's just going to shoot him for a lot of damage. That's going to be 7 plus 3. Yep, 10 knocks John down to 13.
Yep, 7 from
Plus
the
he's
Staros,
going to have
3 more
another
from the Fire Shaman. So he didn't actually. We couldn't tell from here, but it looks like he didn't pass. He was
just thinking
waiting
about
and
it,
decided,
yeah.
yep, I'm going for the Scaros. I'm not going to pass with this Brachiosaurus. I'm just going to put all the pressure on
I think
right
that
now.
makes sense. Sam's realizing that he just doesn't want a repeat of what we saw last game with John, where he gets the Scar's infection and then he just, slowly prevents the opponent from really their damage mattering. So what he's doing right now is trying to put as much pressure as quickly as possible, saying, I have a huge hand of cards. If you want to clear my board,
yes,
do so, and then I'm just going to start refilling it, and you're going to die before you do anything relevant. I'm not going to worry about pacing my plays because that's mostly relevant when you don't have anything.
Yeah, and that Muse just drew him an extra card, which even, so
discarding the Smash and Burn.
putting him up to 8. Discards the Smash and Burn to hand size. John drew 2 with the Wave of Transformation. In those 2 cards, I did see him pick up an Angel of Death.
Right.
And I would bet that's exactly what we're going to see here.
He's going to banish 2 from a discard pile, reveal the Scar's Gift, and presumably another evil card from his hand.
So even though that Scar's Gift went to his discard pile, John always just keeps it right there in the center because it's coming right back to his hand. And
this
Sam
is
will take 2 and John gained 2.
Exactly why Sam Black was trying to pressure him as quickly as possible. And we'll see if if that Scaros play made sense, especially now that he would have had a champion that he would have had. If he had the Scaros now, he could use it to clear the Angel of Death easily.
Yes.
But now he's going to actually have to worry about that hitting him.
And even more worrying about that having to hit him. John with a second Heinous Feast, gaining a little bit of life, but also doing it before Sam could play Draka's Enforcer and then activate that Smash and Burn out of the...
Yep.
So here we see a gain 11 for John. Sam will take 2. 9 from the Drain Essence, 2 from the
It's going to go back up to 30. Right,
Yes.
Back to 30. Knock Sam down to 21. So at this point, I mean, that Angel Death is looking pretty scary. As it hits you, there's another 3 activations, 4 activations, assuming that the evil cards go to the discard pile, left in the discard pile.
Yep.
On
And
the
we very
Scar's
well
Gift.
could see a Flame Spike into a Feeding Frenzy on Sam's turn onto that Angel Death just to make sure it doesn't deal any damage to him.
Right.
And we'll see what he chooses to do.
Plus, Sam's got a buttload of cards, so he might as well get rid of some of them now. I think he's deciding between the Flame Spike that's revealed and the Wolf Spite that he has in his hand. Yeah, I mean, I think the Wolf Spite is generally the more powerful, but he also wants to hide what cards he has in his hand. I think the Wolf's Bite makes the most sense, though, because it plays around Skara's Will of Skara, which would be a perfect response from John if
Yes.
he plays the Flame Spike in Feeding Frenzies and then passes to John, and John just, whips out the Will of Skara and then continues to drain with Skara's Infection.
And that's exactly what Sam decides to do. The Wolf's Bite into the Feeding Frenzy. He didn't recycle off the Wolf's Bite, but he has plenty of cards. He's not worried about it, at least right now. What he's worried about is that Angel of Death. And Sam has very few ways of generating tokens. He can try to go wide with Misguide Heralds and Brachiosaurus, but there are definitely turns where Skara's Will could be very problematic for Sam, and Wolf's Bite is a good insurance against that. And Sam will also go for an Amnesia now.
Makes sense. I mean, considering the impact.
Right. He's already seen a Skara's Gift, and he knows if I don't use Amnesia now, that's gonna be 3 or 4 more Skara's Gift activations over the next 2 or 3 turns. So
yeah, that's when you want to use it.
Right. Looks like John picks up his 1 copy of Apocalypse.
Right, so I guess he's gonna erase the T-Rex there. Yeah, who cares? You can have as many cards as you want.
Yep. And I think is it 7 or 8?
He is at 8.
I think he's at 8. He has the Durgiscar in hand, though. Very well is the card that he will... Oh, there's a Thought Plucker, so... I think that's a Dirge.
Yep.
Seems like the best target.
Well, it doesn't look like John actually has a way to get rid of that Thought Plucker, however. Or I guess, yeah, because John already spent his gold playing the erase.
That's correct.
The real question is, once these all hit John, he'll take the 3. He'll be down to 27. If Sam passes, will John just go to his turn and then... do nothing?
Yeah, this Thought Plucker could be very pesky for John. John having to think, what do I want to do? And if I do want this to hit, what do I want to discard?
Right. Yeah, I think there's a pretty high chance that the Thought Plucker will come in, he'll discard, and then he will follow up. Oh, it looks like he's going to make a play.
He's going
He's going to draw 2.
Start with the Skara's Gift. Two cards go away. One of them was
picks up a
Dirge.
Wither.
Picked up a Wither.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you do that play, right?
Exactly. He decides to go with the draw 2 before the damage with the Thought Plucker. He has Withers. He has Consumes.
He doesn't have any consumes.
No Consumes.
Just the 3 Withers
The
and
3
one
Withers.
Flash Fire.
That's right.
Those are his only answers.
3 Wither,
to,
1 Flash Fire. Okay, but he
two-
found it. He found a Wither.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't seen any of those cards, so it's not too unlikely, and the Flash Fire has the additional benefit of making his Will of Scar much better by removing the Wolf token.
Yep. And this is a Flame Spike
Feeding Frenzy.
Feeding Frenzy, just to get rid of the demon token from the Dirge of Skara. Sam prioritizing getting every champion John has off the board as he comes in. Sam,
I mean, he's just
really
looking out
pushing
for
the envelope.
that accumulating just a little bit too many champions can make the Dark Ones feel really scary.
Right.
Coming out of John's side, and he hasn't seen even any to draw to, so
Yep.
I'm sure that's what he's mostly
Sam with
worried
plenty
about.
of cards, so plays the Muse and pitches the Ancient Chant to hand size. So
Let's see. I'm thinking. Board wipe could be pretty.
right when I was stretching my neck. Yeah, I was stretching my neck, and we actually saw us for a second there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I was going to say the Draka Enforcer and the Hurricane not in play. Those
Yeah.
are just still revealed off loyalty from the Raging T-Rex
Yeah.
for Jean.
I can
for
see
just
he's
joining us.
thinking about the Earth
Yep.
Summoner. He's going back to that other. I can put myself in a situation where if my opponent plays a Hurricane, it's good for me because it's killing their own stuff, and I have the Wither to fit. I guess that's not a Wither.
The Roxas Curse there. Yeah, this is a tough decision for John. Looks like he's leaning toward that Rift Summoner.
He really wants to play the Rift Summoner. I mean, he is nearly full on cards in hand, so it looks like he's decided on the Rift Summoner.
Yeah, and he has just enough cards in his discard pile as well to get that activation off of the Scar's Gift. And again, slow and steady. Sam is at 17. Each Scar's Gift is one tiny step closer to John getting the win in each game.
It's interesting. We haven't seen the one copy of Plentiful Dead in any of these matches.
We haven't yet. Not at all. The same loyalty for Brock.
Looks like he played Surprise Attack into Brock. Just going to pile on all of the cards in play. Yeah, it looks like John's going to go ahead and do that right now. So I imagine that Brock has to be hasty retreated.
Yes, and that is exactly what John has ready.
Because he doesn't have any other answers in his hand. Yep, and that's going to mean that Sam's going to draw a card.
Right, and that is a temporary...
It's a temporary fix, but that discard pile is filling up again with a hasty
Yeah.
retreat. And
That's a good point.
sometimes it's all you need.
I feel like Medusa is a card John is really
Yeah,
looking
for
for,
Medusa.
especially in this matchup.
I mean,
The more that we play it, the
even
more
just
that I wish he
even
had
just
that
Seed of
card.
Zaltesa could just close this out from nowhere.
That as well. Yeah, because the Drain Essence only 9, that Brock is 11 defense. Medusa, as long as it's not on the turn that Brock comes in, is very powerful against it.
Man, that attack with the Raging T-Rex is a bit surprising. I guess he's planning on replaying the Brock.
I think he has to attack with that Raging T-Rex.
Right. Well,
No,
I mean,
I-
I was thinking this might be the turn where he tries to
Yeah.
Hurricane, but maybe
Right,
he's going to
right,
set up to
before
Hurricane
attacking.
off turn
Right.
and just go for the attack next turn. He's saying, I have plenty of time.
Yep.
I'm going to set up. I'm going to make sure I have lots of big champions in play, and then next turn is the big turn where I'm going to
Yeah.
pull out my Hurricane.
And as a one-of, he has used it as loyalty. So,
Right.
so John knows about it. This isn't going to be a surprise. The question is, can John do anything about it when it happens?
Right.
He
And
draws
he's-
2 with the Roxas Curse.
Yeah, he's thinking. He was definitely looking at that wolf token and saying, well, this Hurricane's probably about to come out. I should just focus on making my opponent use it more than anything
Yep.
else.
So John will start with the Amnesia.
Yeah, and he definitely has to think about these amnesias. That's basically an extra one less card in his discard pile to use the
Scar's Gift.
Scar's Gift, and he's getting closer. But recycling with that amnesia means he can get another evil card, so we can start digging towards that, making the Xanos bigger.
Yes. And we did see John pick up a Xanos, 2 copies in his deck.
Yeah, and as we see, the Fiery Demise not very useful in this matchup. Probably is always worth discarding against John's deck.
Right. There could be a moment where you could get a Rift Summoner plus a Wolf's Bite by using Fire Demise Wolf's Bite. But for the most part, yeah. We'll see what John does here. Leads with the Scar's Gift, so this could be the Xanos here.
I imagine that he's probably just going to clear the board.
Oh, yeah, Dark One's
with
Fury,
the Dark
actually.
One's
You're
Fury,
absolutely
yeah.
right.
Because
Much better because of the... he
he
replayed
plays
that Brock.
Xanos, and then the Hurricane comes out, and then he's just really far behind.
What am I saying? You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What he's
So-
more worried about is that one of Hurricane right now, for sure.
Right. Yeah, and now Sam has to rebuild. He could play the Hurricane, but then he is basically just starting over from turn 1 on his side, and he's way behind. So he might just try and drop Yeah, exactly. A champion like that.
Strafing Dragon, dealing its 5 to the Rift Summoner.
So now, even though he could group attack, I think it would be safer not to, because John knows that Sam has Lightning Strikes in his deck. But it looks like, and even a Wolf Spite or a Flame Spike could finish that last one off.
Right, but Sam did not have a Wolf Spite or a Flame Spite there. We probably definitely would have seen it. So back to Sam.
I could imagine that Brock's got to come out, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it is just the fastest way to clean out. You really gotta. The clock's ticking at this point. Sam's getting pretty far behind without anything on board. Oh wow!
So surprise attack into the Xanos.
Right. You don't get to. I actually don't get to. Yeah.
You don't get to. I was about to say you don't get the Scarab's gift because of surprise attack being the reason that Xanos is there. So he will not choose to do it here.
But sometimes that's good enough, because these zombies can just chip in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also Xanos 3 to Sam. The life gain for John not nearly as relevant as the 3 damage it did to Sam this last turn, and he will start by attacking.
Interesting. So he's like, okay, you didn't have anything last turn. Looks like he's just gonna Hurricane now.
Did attack with the zombie and the Xanos, so that if Brock blocked, would have been a trade.
I imagine that the Drain Essence is going to come down here and kill this, because.
Yep.
Oh, he's just going to go for the win.
That's the coin.
That's the Seed of Zaltesa.
Yeah, and the Hurricane's already been played.
Right.
Well.
So at this point, it's Muse or bust.
That's right.
You could also clear it with 2 0-cost cards, like a Lightning Strike and a Wolf's and a Flame Spike.
I think Sam had Lightning Strike. He had just drawn it, but we know from the turn before
that he didn't have
Wolf Spite or that one of Steed of Zaltesa.
Yeah. It's interesting. That game seemed a lot less close than the last one that we saw.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I guess this wild deck is a different list.
So I think Mike had all 3 Amnesias earlier as well. I think Sam only had 1 there, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Which definitely John's discard pile. He was able to get rolling with the Scar's gift. Was even faster.
Was this what was the?
Yeah, that was.
This is the one that we saw against John earlier.
Yes, that
All
is.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was the same list almost exactly, but we also saw less follow-ups effectively. I mean, that time that was John actually landed a Rift Summoner, and then it started being relevant.
Yes, I was going to say John found a Rift Summoner late in that game against Mike Segrist, but there he had the Rift Summoner early. He found one of his Xanos, and I feel like the Rift Summoner and Xanos are both really more champions.
Yeah.
Not just trying to find a board wipe or trying to stop what Sam Black's doing, but be even more proactive. John also had both Guilt Demons early in that game, which dealt some damage to Sam, and also kept Sam off. He ate a Smash and Burn. Sam played, not that it was necessarily relevant with cards, but played a Flame Spike without Recycle. And I think those Guilt Demons, Medusas, Rift Summoners, and the Xanos, along with Dark One's Furies, are the kind of combination that John is looking for.
Right. I think also Sam had a really slow start at the beginning, because he basically passed and then played Smash and Burn to draw 2 on his second turn.
You see a huge difference in power level versus I'm going to play a Raging T-Rex to start the game, versus his hand, which was double Smash and Burn, Ancient Chant.
Did he even play any Brachiosauruses? That's another big thing. I don't think Sam played any Brachiosauruses that game.
Maybe one. But he also surprise attacked a Misguide Herald and chose not to take up the other Brachiosaurus off of the off turn. So we'll see what Sam has here. He's going to most likely be on the draw. And we'll see, again, as the aggressor in many ways. Sam looks like he's going to mulligan one of those Wolf Spite and something else. There is a Medusa in John's hand. A Reaper, a Rox's Curse, a Dirge of Skara, and
a Heinous Feast, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Hand seems, I don't know.
Well, I always feel
Yeah,
good about
I like it.
Dirge, and I always feel
No,
good
I was going to
about
say, I
Medusa, so.
wasn't surprised he didn't mulligan. I kind of liked it. And starts with, on his turn, he just drew 2.
Right. Yeah, I
Just
mean,
to start
Dirge
the
is
game.
just one of those
Yeah.
cards that, you want to get the ball rolling. It lets you set up for the demon. He's looking for the Gift of Skara and also, other relevant plays.
Yep. And here comes the Strafing Dragon. John is at 25.
Right.
It's not updated yet, but
Yeah.
but this is Medusa, and this is something I think John's really happy to see in this matchup against all these giant wild champions.
And one thing that we saw here that didn't last game was that basically Sam's starting his turn with an attack pretty early on.
Right.
He's like the first one to have a champion in play, whereas last game John established that Gudgeon pretty
Yes.
early, and it was really rough
Yes.
for Sam. Although it doesn't look like he's going to have a relevant punish here.
He doesn't. Just has 2 Flame Spikes, a Feeding Frenzy. He does play that Drakus Enforcer on his turn.
Yeah, it does look like that hand's going to be a little bit awkward to pull something off with on his off turn, because he's got Feeding Frenzy, 2 Flame Spikes, a Fire Shaman, and a Surprise Attack.
Yeah, that's a very strange hand for Sam.
So he's almost definitely going to be forced into Flame Spiking to dig, and then if he doesn't find anything, using the Feeding Frenzy to draw 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do here. The Reaper takes care of the Drakus Enforcer. 2 damage to John. He's at 23, and Sam will draw a card. He's looking for a champion. He starts with a Brachiosaurus.
Okay, so you can surprise attack that and then draw 2 with the Feeding Frenzy, worst case scenario.
Right. He also has another draw step here. It's an Ancient Chant, so this Brachiosaurus most likely coming down. Yep.
You can also Flame Spike first if he wants, but it looks like he's just going to draw 2.
Yep. Another Brachiosaurus and a Strafing Dragon for Sam. But Sam's deck, 1 Kong instead of 2. No Drain Essence.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see Drain Essence in the wild deck. This Reaper has been a real problem for these wild decks. And he's not going to want that sticking around.
Now that he's lost, I wouldn't be too surprised if he cleared the Reaper first. Is that possible? I guess it isn't. I thought he could. I thought he could do it with Fire Shaman into. Yeah, because otherwise, John's just going to draw 2. The nice thing about having a Reaper in play is you can just keep drawing 2.
Right.
And then also your champions don't do anything.
Yeah.
And one thing about this deck is because it relies on the forward momentum a lot, you have a lot less of the
Right. I was gonna say
of the Blitz Punishers to follow things up with.
Yeah.
Because you're more focused on just tossing a lot of things out and then forcing your opponent to deal with those individually.
So John has played his coin with the draw 2 off the Zombie Apocalypse. Sam has a Strafing Dragon in hand. He could go for the 11 to the face on John. He also could finish off that Medusa with the Strafing Dragon and still attack.
Mm-hmm.
It has 4 damage on it right now.
Yeah, I think he's definitely trying to plan out his turns, because either way, the other option is he could play Fire Shaman, Brachiosaurus, and then something else. Either the Strafing Dragon or the Raging T-Rex. You could do like Fire Shaman, Brachiosaurus, Raging T-Rex, and that does.
And finish off the Medusa if you wanted.
He could do.
With the 6 from
6, 7,
from Fire Shaman, or just do the 6
Yeah.
to the face.
Yeah. Either way, I think he. Yeah, I think he's definitely looking at establishing the Fire Shaman, but he really needs to get rid of that Reaper if he's going to put any champions into play. He might just go ahead and Fire Shaman, Strafing Dragon. It looks like he's just going to draw 2.
That's 7 to the Medusa.
Right, so he's going to use the.
Right, Flame Spike to finish it off and recycle from there. Yep, that is enough. Flame Spike finishes the Medusa off, and
Right. I'm sure that John is feeling pretty good about this. It looks like he just picked up a Drain Essence, and he has the... He looks like he also just grabbed the gift off of that draw tube. So he can start generating 4/4s of his own, and with the Dirge of Skara.
Yeah, that's an interesting interaction, actually. The Scar's Will with Reaper.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with Reaper, it's just that the Dirge of Scar, when it gets recycled.
You said Dirge of Scar. But I was thinking that the allied abilities, now that we have the wills, being able to activate it twice in the same turn is something new to the game that is not something to be scuffed at.
I don't think we've actually seen any of the Scar's Wills in either of these games. I don't think he doesn't have it in his hand. He must be like in the middle of his deck every single time.
Yeah, he's 3 in his deck. Yeah, I mean,
we haven't actually been going through the decks in any of these games. They've just been there's just been a lot of thought because of how many champions are in play generally at the same time.
You're right. Not a lot of turns, but very difficult turns, and
clearly he wants to use his Drain Essence.
Right. Yeah,
I think it would be better for him to save it, just because it's not really a good target for it right now. Well, okay. And then he'll break that and make a demon token.
Sure. So it does go for the Fire Shaman. Does put that Drain Essence right back.
Yeah. Best to draw the Drain Essence again as soon as possible, since it's presumably his best card in the matchup.
Yes. And if John was playing Lessons Learned, that's a card you would not want to recycle. But if you see your opponent in this scenario recycle that Drain Essence, you can probably take Lessons Learned, which Sam obviously knows the deck list and knows there are no Lessons Learned in John's deck. But
right. There's nothing that can get anything back from the discard pile, except for, the Plentiful Dead in the Scars faction.
So Thought Plucker, John chooses the Roxas Curse. He has been so disciplined with not putting the Scar's Gift.
True.
He knows it's his win con, and he knows Sam Black has amnesia, and he's saying...
Right. He also knows, because he knows his list really well, he knows, I don't need to wither the Thought Blocker now, because there's no reason to. My Sam Black doesn't have any... I guess, does he have Smash and Burn? So... Short of Smash and Burning, but I mean that's pretty. He's probably not going to do that. I mean, if he did that, you'd be pretty happy. You just draw 2, and then you'd kill it with the Reaper. So and then anything else that happens, there's no zero cost. There's no zero cost card that's going to buff it. There's no zero cost card that's going to give it Unbreakable, and there's nothing that can bring back from the discard pile. So you never really need to worry about it. There's the Reaper. I guess he really is very cautious about blocking with the Reaper here because he knows that the Reaper is just so valuable.
Yes. And if he, looks like a clean block, just block that 4/4. But if he does, Sam can follow up with the Lightning Strike and finish off the Reaper against one of those demons.
Feeding Frenzy, Strafing Dragon.
There's a lot of things exactly. There's a lot of things that could happen. So
probably the Misguide again.
It's Misguide or Thought Plucker, and
I think you got the Thought Plucker.
Well, Sam almost was like, let's just re-roll, but then said, wait.
What do I really want to roll into?
Or, yes.
He has 6 in his hand. He's saying if I hit Skara, it doesn't really matter because it's not going to do anything.
He does choose the Thought Plucker over another roll on the Misguide Herald.
Interesting. Well, Dirge going away.
Yep.
So it looks like he picked up an Angel of Death. Not super useful right now since he's just chugging along. Ideally, he'd want to draw 2, but he doesn't actually have...
Yeah, draw 2 would be good here.
A draw 2 that activates his ally abilities.
Yeah.
He can draw 2 with the Raxus Curse, but
he wouldn't be able to trigger the Reaper to get rid of the Thought Plucker.
Right. I wonder if maybe he even wanted to hold on to that Dirge just because... This turn, he'd like to use the Raxus Curse to draw 2, but he can't activate his ally abilities on it.
Yes.
Ooh, I like this play. That's like a free kill on the Misguided Herald because you can't. He knows Sam's deck. Sam doesn't have any effect that does 6 damage, and he can't Feeding Frenzy.
Right. It would only have to be something which is incredibly unlikely in the scenario of double Wolf Spite,
you have to
Spite and all that, which we know.
He could Wolf Spite, block with the Wolf Spite, and then
but still, able to get that misguide herald off the table
Looks like he just recalled the...
as his coin. Yep,
Right.
recalled the dirge back to his hand, so he got that demon. That is his coin for the turn. And then Sam with his third...
Two thought pluckers.
Yeah, and that's all 3 thought pluckers, by the way. There's the third one is in the discard pile right now. So Sam has a different strategy than by drawing all 3 thought pluckers. He has a completely different strategy than we've seen in other games in this match. He is going directly at John's hand.
It's pretty funny. He could have group attacked there.
Could have with both.
Yeah, with both thought pluckers. It doesn't actually matter.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing in
Like-
John's deck that would care whether or not he
Right.
did or not.
Either way, the Medusa takes one, the Reaper turns the other one into a demon.
Right.
And that Reaper sticking around has been causing so much. Sam has not been
That's
able to get
true.
rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
and-
like, okay.
Well, I was going to say, there's the one
mistakes
Kong.
have been made. Let's get rid of the Reaper now.
Right. There is Sam's Kong. And finally he gets it off the table because just sitting around, it was able to turn, 3 or 4 champions into
Yeah.
demon tokens, which has made the pressure a lot less against John in these middle turns of
Consider
the
those
game.
dinosaurs reaped.
Let's see what this one Kong can do in Sam's matchup because it against Mike was using it to good effect. I mean, it was a lot of pressure against John.
Right.
Partially because just like Brock, more than 9 means Drain Essence can't deal with it, and it means it has to be a board wiper. It has to be a Medusa or
Right.
Reaper to
Yeah.
deal to really get off the table.
Yeah, and the way I see this going, it didn't seem like, I mean, maybe he's grabbed another one, but that was the last of his really good direct answers because he had the Reaper in play and then he just spent his Medusa. So likely, I think he'll sit a bit and just draw some more cards until that Medusa blocks a demon token, probably eats some kind of effect, and then the demon will just go underneath the con.
And Sam, surprise attack. The card he drew was Brock, and he immediately
Wow.
plays
play
it,
it.
reveals 2, and draws another card.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see how greedy Sam tries to get with this Smash and Burn, because I think, especially if, let's say, this Brock gets through, then you can get away with Smash and Burning an unblocked demon token.
Yes.
But or something along those lines. But then he gets one up by Roxas Curse.
Which John is going to use as a draw 2.
Looking for Hasty Retreat.
He does not find it.
Takes 14.
14 from the Brock. That's how fast this can
Oh
turn.
wow! If I was Sam, I'd probably even just go ahead and
Yeah,
slam
Tim,
that Smash and Burn.
did
I
have
mean,
a
I'll take
chance.
my 5 draw 2.
But it
The
looks
board's pretty, you already got a whole lot on there right now.
yeah.
But we'll see. He might just end up putting it on a demon token.
Especially because the draw 2 that John used was the Roxas Curse.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Strafing Dragon into Feeding Frenzy and a Lightning Strike
Oh,
on the
see.
demon token.
He says,
so Sam pulling out all the zeros.
I don't think you have any other effects. This could just be it for John. That's
Because both those demons are gonna and the Strafing Dragon.
that's easily enough. Well, he can gain 2 off of the Scar's Gift, going up
Okay.
to 20. So then he'll take 20. Right now there's 21 on board. So he needs a different 0. He needs any 0-cost card in his deck.
He's already drawn 2. He's already used his coin for the turn, and I don't see but 1 Scar's Gift in his hand. I think if Sam attacks with everything, that might
he
be
has
a Wither.
Heinous Feast. He has a Heinous Feast second to last, and a Wither.
Okay, that's Heinous Feast and Wither.
Wither can at least save 6 health by going on the demon
Right.
tokens if necessary. But the Strafing Dragon is still going to attack.
Yes.
So
There's the Strafing Dragon.
yeah, he's definitely going to need a Heinous Feast here.
He Heinous Feast before damage on the Strafing Dragon.
He can definitely survive, but he'll be very low. As long as there's 2 champions in his discard pile. Yeah, he'll be alive.
Yeah, there's 6. So John up to 11, but right back to 5 when the Strafing Dragon hits.
Now if he withers, then he'll go to 3.
That's correct. But I mean, Fire Shaman from Sam.
Yeah,
And
well,
any
he'd
coin,
say,
right?
but yeah, I mean,
So is it that Heinous Feast is in the discard pile?
doesn't he have Scar's Gift in his hand though?
You're right.
Okay, so likely next turn then
You're right. Back to 5.
he'll go
be able
back to 5 and clear the board with her.
Yes. And Heinous Feast keeping John alive,
How heinous.
even with this incredible
He's like,
surprise
all
attack.
right, I also have Wither.
Right. Right. So John to 3. Sam, surprise attack into Brock, followed up by Lightning Strike and then a Strafing Dragon and Feeding Frenzy. John
Wither,
draws.
Not very often reducing demons to 1/1s for a turn.
Yeah.
Not a very commonly used mode on Wither.
Yeah. But just enough to
Yeah.
keep John alive. So it was a pickup of Xanos for John. We see the Gudgeon. I think there's a Dark One's Fury as well, but because of the demon tokens from the Reaper, that doesn't clear the board.
Oh, wow.
And that's the board wipe
Well, he has a
in
surprise
hand.
attack. So I think what he's considering doing is playing the Gudgeon and then surprise attacking out Angel of Death on the backswing.
Wow. Yes. That's what he's going to have to do.
Well, he could play the
He
Angel
could
of
also
Death
just
now,
play Angel of Death now, yeah.
but
We'll see it either way. He goes up to 5.
just because, okay, he's playing
Yeah.
Angel of Death now.
Right.
Just going to surprise deck out potentially Xanos.
Seems strong.
He's going to draw a card here off of
I really
the
didn't think
Ancient
John could get out of that, and he just did.
Oh,
Just
he also
barely
had
with-
he also had a dirge, so he gets his demon token
Yeah.
as well.
I hate-
After the Angel of Death.
Yeah. That Scars gets back to his hand.
Yeah, I'm sure Sam was counting up and being like, well, he needs to gain.
Yeah. He needs to gain a
What?
bunch of life. And John, he
He
had to
was-
use every 0 he had,
He
but he
was
did it.
what? 3, 7. He was I think 9 over lethal.
Yeah. But not enough.
Yeah.
But enough to survive that turn. That was still quite impressive. However, Sam able to finish John off. John with only 5 health in that game.
Was that a strafing dragon?
I didn't see it there. We didn't see it here on the camera. Either way, Sam might have revealed something from his hand. The game ended immediately. But either way, Sam taking game 4. Just going to take a small break. No, we're not. We're just going to keep talking to you. But Sam is just getting going to the restroom. We're getting some water.
Yeah, don't worry, we're here for you.
Oh, we're here. But I guess surprise attack was the big difference between games 3 and 4. I feel like
I mean, surprise deck is pretty big.
it seemed to be the standout card there. It's just so much pressure, and every time the surprise attack into the Brock, John has to have an answer right away.
Yeah, I think what happened was usually what John did in the first game was he called Sam's bluff a lot on the little damaging effects like Lightning Strike and Wolf's Bite. But, the cost of him having 1 wasn't that big. And then he called his bluff there in that last turn, and it was a really big swing because he called his bluff and he had a lot of effects.
Yes.
He was able to clear off all of his blockers. The con got through, and that was, 13 damage.
Yeah.
And that was basically just,
Yeah.
too much too quickly.
And right when so that's a one of Kong for Sam. Right when he got to it, I said that was a card we identified against Mike that was something that was a problem for John.
Yeah.
And seemed to be that thing is just giant and it's causing problems. And I have to make sure I have something to block it every turn.
Right.
And the turn that Sam decided to kind of go off, using all of his zeros, that Kong got through, and that led the charge to the very quick end of Game 4.
Yeah. And we definitely saw that the Reaper making the demon tokens wasn't irrelevant. The fact that the demon tokens were still there,
Yes.
like they came in, they did 2 damage
Yes.
at the very least, and they ate a Wither, and they potentially threatened to do much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, and as powerful as Reaper is, it got rid of all 3 Thought Pluckers, or at least 2 of them in that one turn with Medusa. But it wasn't. It's such a good card, and it's such a good meta choice against what you expect if it's a heavy wild field without Drain Essence. But you have your Dark One's Furies as well, and you just gave them the demons, and it just was just too much damage on that last turn of the game. This is shaping up to be quite a finals.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
definitely.
is.
We're gonna
I
be
guess. I
going.
mean, this is Game 5. I mean, this is
Yeah.
everything that we wish for. The finals, Game 5, two incredible players. I know we're very excited here. Thank you for sticking with us all day. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is. You're just
Welcome to
hearing,
the
hey, it's going to Game
end.
5. We're here at the Epic World Championships just outside of Boston, and we started with 32 players, and we are down to 2. Playing with the new Pantheon cards, 48 new cards. CJ was one of the lead developers for Pantheon. I guess when we have this small break, I mean, maybe talk to what's some of your favorite cards from Pantheon? Let's talk about them for a second.
Cards? Oh man. Well, honestly, I have a soft spot for Scar's Gift, and that's mostly because I like the really grindy style
Yes.
of play. But so I mean, I really enjoy that. I know some people they really enjoy Epic because they get to just throw out those huge champions and beat
Right.
down with huge attackers and things
Yeah.
like that. And it's another option for a deck type, and it doesn't cause games to end in an unsatisfying way, in my opinion. Like sometimes when you, especially we saw the Kark meta last year,
Right.
and that was Kark is just kind of annoying in the sense that you gain a lot of health and the game just kind of sputters out. Like it's just like
And
ends.
it's over, but there wasn't
Right, and there's a lot
combat.
of like dead cards that you see,
Yep.
things that are
Right.
basically your cards. A lot of your cards became dead cards.
Yes.
You could have a Drain Essence and you'd be playing against Kark deck and you'd be like, well, I can't draw 2 with this.
Yes.
There's nothing really for me to kill with it, and the health gain is irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Drain Essence was quite polarizing last year, where it was very good against the wild decks and did very little against card. This year, a bunch of mid-range matchups, really close games. I know that Kark wasn't banned from competitive play, but Fumble, Blind Faith, Ceasefire, those decisions were made, and it definitely shook up the meta. And we also were able to play a bunch of the new Pantheon cards. We're seeing Pantheon cards in both John and Sam's deck today.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So we're very excited to have them. Yeah, I do agree, though. Scar's Gift, slow and steady, and John found the same idea as he was building his deck here today.
Yeah, I mean,
for
it's
today.
another satisfying. I also really like Herald of Lashnock. I know it's seen a little bit of fringe play today.
Yeah.
Just I like cards that don't cause you to run out. Like Herald of Lashnock is exactly one of those. It's kind of like a Triceratops in the sense that it replaces itself.
Yes.
But you also kind of need to build with it in mind. If you don't have very many wild cards, you'll occasionally whiff. Sometimes you'll get one choice, and it'll just be like a Triceratops that is getting you a different wild card, which might be good or bad depending on what your other wild cards are. But if you have a lot of wild cards, then it can really dig into what you need.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can grab a Go Wild, and then all of a sudden it's like an improved Belling Minotaur. It's like a Belling Minotaur, but it draws you a card.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what all the Heralds
And
do.
the ability to Misguide Herald, which we've had for a long time, just being able to grab a champion. But these new Heralds, it should be noted. I mean, yeah, you can grab zeros, you can grab events, you can grab whatever you want as long as it's in your faction. And so, they looked really good. In the little bit I saw of the Pluck University's deck that they were here, Tom Sorensen and others were playing it obviously this weekend. I would say one of my favorite cards from Pantheon is Cast Out. I'm not a tokens player by any means, and I don't think you even need to be. Simply, it's just baseline. Deals with so many, Dark Knight off turn, Ribus, Amuse, a Spore Beast. Just having Cast Out deals with that. But the upside, both with it and Ambush Party, I'm sure token fans out there excited to see it really pushed the envelope and was something that Sam even used with Battle Cry and had some incredible success earlier today playing. So just finding ways to make a faction like Good, the white or yellow faction that we have in Epic, especially in Dark Draft, more competitive. And we saw more good cards being drafted in Dark Draft today than I've seen in a while. So it's good to see.
And I'm especially excited for people to be brewing new archetypes that haven't really existed before. I mean, there was a little bit of evil deck types that we saw last year, but nothing quite as grindy as this. And
Right.
you could say the same thing also about Pluck University's deck with the
Last year, the final task thought plucker.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
meant that this year,
this year.
they have kind of an archetype designed around making one thing really big, and that's what I'm hoping for, is that people really bring out their brews,
Yes.
and we get to see things that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely, and we definitely saw it this weekend with the Pantheon cards immediately being put to great effect from Force Lance to Skara's Gift to Brock, the Fist of Lashnot. So the players are shuffling up, getting ready for Game 5. This will be the last game of the Epic World Championships. John trying to repeat the victor from last year, and Sam Black, incredible Magic player, Magic pro, and also been playing a ton of Epic and playing online. He definitely practiced. He definitely prepared for this event, and it's been showing. So, both of them getting ready here for Game 5.
And I can't imagine the tension in the room, when it's like the last match of finals.
Yes.
This is it. One of us is walking out of here.
Yeah, this is it right here. You can't ask for more. It's perfect.
Yeah,
Game
it is.
5. Here we are. So players will choose. There's that one of Hurricane in Sam's opening hand, as well as an Amnesia, Feeding Frenzy. I gotta like the Brock is there as well. Yeah, keeping the Hurricane, keeping the Brock, keeping the Amnesia. Those are cards that have stood out as important in this matchup.
Absolutely.
From John.
Feeding Frenzy can be kind of awkward to play.
Yeah. Picks up a smash, and so he does just start with the Brock. Draws a Thought Plucker. The pressure is on immediately for John.
Ooh, although I think we might get an early start with the
Rift Summoner?
Rift Summoner here. I mean, honestly, looking at his hand, it might even be the only option. But it looks like he might be drawing 2 instead.
So chooses to draw 2 over getting an early.
All right, looking for a good answer to that Brock.
And maybe it's because he thinks, I have so few answers to Brock, it's board wipe, and it needs to be something like Angel of Death.
Right.
And, yep, that's exactly what he goes with.
Right, especially in the early game, there's a chance that Sam doesn't have a good follow-up to just removing whatever his threatening card is.
Exactly.
And that's what we saw a lot of in the first match was Sam, his hand was a little bit awkward. It had Smash and Burn in it, and then he was kind of forced into just drawing to look for a good answer. And you don't want to get into a drawing war with a deck that wants to drink
Yeah.
to death. Yeah.
And even though Sam saw that Dirge, he says, this Thought Plucker is what I'm doing this turn, and there's the Dirge of Scar from John.
Yep. Of course, John knows. Doesn't really matter if I should no reason to wither. Maybe my opponent will, misguide heralds before they attack, and they happen to hit a Thought Plucker, and so my wither gets a 2-for-1 value.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
real reason to wither before my opponent attacks.
Right, until you need to. It looks like Sam picked up a second Fire Shaman on this draw step. Not something I think he wants to see in multiples, at least not right now. It's
true. I mean,
it could be a card that can obviously finish the game, right? Really
he
quickly.
could attack with the Thought Plucker, and then if he gets removed, he can plop out the Fire Shamans and just remove the draw 2 to get rid of the Angel of Death, and then just basically force John to have another board wipe or wither.
Yeah. Oh, he does. He plays both Fire Shamans. We know John has the Wither in hand, though. That's going to be able to take care of both of them. But
what do you need? I mean, he has to
he
deal
also
with
needs
that.
to deal with the Thought Plucker, though.
He's thinking about it. What do I do here?
Does that second Fire Shaman actually enough to take care of
He's going to recall the Dirge, discard the Dirge, and then presumably on his turn, he's just going to use both Withers.
So recalls the Dirge as his coin, gets the Demon, lets the Thought Plucker hit him. Sam draws a card off that.
So that
Thought
is
Plucker
his
as well.
third and final Feeding Frenzy in the Sam's hand right now.
Because he mulliganed one.
He mulliganed both, I believe.
Oh.
And he just drew a third one. Yeah, so he's gonna... Time to clean up. Oh, right. He doesn't need to use the other wither yet, of course.
And there's a second thought plucker in Sam's hand. He might actually be able to pull this off.
Wow, that would be pretty insane.
We'll see. It doesn't look like Sam has many other ambush champions to play. And we saw Sam have 2 thought pluckers on the board last game. This could be Sam's play, and that second wither,
I mean,
it could be huge.
Yeah, we might see... yeah, if I was John, I'm getting a little low on cards. I might just want to start drawing back up again, because that's the main way that you lose. And honestly, you really want your opponent... The opponent's best off-turn plays are... There's, 9 of them? Surprise Attack, Draka's Enforcer, and...
Strafing Dragon.
Strafing Dragon. Yeah, basically. I guess there's also Thought Blocker, right? So, if you can get your opponent start to make a play, there's a chance, they'll drop another Thought Blocker.
Yep. And it does look like this is going to be a draw 2 off the Apocalypse.
I think, though, if I was Sam, I might take that read. Like, oh, he used the Wither to kill both my...
Fire Shaman's over the Thought Plucker, but he does.
He does.
He plays the Thought Plucker, and we know John has... Now, John still has a discard, but we do know he has the Wither for both Thought Pluckers here. And that's fine. Sam choosing to Amnesia right away makes this Scar's Gift weaker. But there it is.
John's like, all right, I'm not gonna. I don't want to worry about you playing another.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, the chance that you drop a third Thought Plucker, pretty low.
Yeah, the Wither for 2 is incredible for John there, and with the Dirge, not only able to recall it to be able to discard to the Thought Plucker, but he got 2 demons out of that as well while drawing 2 with the Apocalypse.
Listen,
so John also putting pressure and surviving card-wise through the Thought Pluckers.
Look, Flashfire killing off a couple things, not unheard of. Wither killing 2 Thought Pluckers.
That was pretty sweet.
And after killing 2 Fire Shamans.
Yeah, but Sam still with a much bigger grip of cards than John has. So John is going to need to...
I mean, those cards still are quite good against you, but
yeah,
reducing the number of answers you need by 1 twice.
Yeah.
Right, and so this is on turn. So he removes one of the demons. John wants to look for a good answer to that Draka's Enforcer. Ideally, like a Drain Essence.
Yeah.
It looks like...
Draw 2 with Heinous
Oh, he's got the
Feast.
Scar's Will. It's the first Scar's Will that we've seen. So my guess is it's going to be Scar's Will coming in for 4. Probably Scar's Gift. Scar's Will.
Scar's Gift and Scar's Will.
Right.
With those 2 cards. You start with the Scar's Gift. And that's what John's deciding to do here.
He's also thinking about the erase. He just wants to fill his hand back up. But the erase is also a good answer off turn against something like the 14 attack.
Oh, yeah, Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like John holding on to those erases, trying to make sure if he gets surprise attack Brock that he has an answer.
Right.
Because last game he was digging for it and he didn't find it. So hanging on as long as he can. And this is what he's going to do. We get to see Scar's Will for the first time. And it goes away very quickly with Recycle.
Yeah, Scar's Will is also a card that you'll generally have good targets for it if your opponent isn't playing around it. But
yes,
there can sometimes get to the point in the game where you just don't have a good time to play Scar's Will for a very long time. Like they might just have a wolf token sitting around.
But in that case, John was able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Scar's Will. Sam has to break a champion of his choice, but he only had 1.
Right.
And John hasn't played his coin yet.
Yeah.
And neither of them played their coin yet.
Right. So he lightning strikes. He could have pulled out the the Strafing Dragon there, but he decided not to.
And after that, John passes and Sam draws.
Yeah.
Neither player played their coin,
You
and the board is
You
even.
rush the game right now.
Yep. I think John's fine with that. He's got the Scars gift in hand already, and has Sam at 20. I think Sam also says pass,
Oh,
and
yeah.
John draws.
Pass.
John, yep. I think John will pass here. Not much has changed.
Maybe he'll draw 2 with the Ancient
Oh.
Chant.
He says okay. Now the window is open for Sam to bring in one of the ambush champions if he has it. Looks like he does. So because John took the draw 2, Sam back ahead on board.
Yeah. Not what John was really wanting to see. Not the kind of thing that you want to...
I'm surprised he
Don't want to erase that.
I knew he wanted to draw 2, but I'm surprised because last turn he passed and he only picked up a draw 2 from Ancient Chat. I am surprised that he played it there. I think I would have passed, but it's a really tough call, and Sam takes the edge on the board. Now John's gonna need to react.
Well, I think he'll just... Well, taking it is really awkward. Yeah, I would even consider starting to race here with the demon tokens. I'm just making a bunch of demon tokens, forcing your
with Rift
opponent to go
Summoner,
wide.
yeah. I think he's had that Rift Summoner since the beginning of the game.
Right, but he sees the Hurricane. He doesn't want to play Rift Summoner on empty
right.
board.
Sam's also had that a long time.
Probably doing some math right now. What's the worst thing that can happen? Because, let's say he takes the damage here, then he goes down to, he's going to erase it. Wow.
I mean, I don't think he had much else. I mean, he can choose to take the 6, but then Sam's just going to pass.
Right.
And
Well, then he
right.
plays the Rift Summoner and he gets hit with Draka. But he'll
Exactly.
gain the 2, so he'd be at 8. I think that's the math that he was doing in his head. 8's a bad spot to be in.
Now, John did just find a Drain Essence. This is a card that we haven't seen in Game 5, and a card that was used especially against these dragons in Game 3 and 4 to good effect.
I think we can safely say John likes this card a lot, considering the amount of times it got played in Dark Draft.
Yeah, I remember it. Origins 2
Was it
years
5
ago.
times?
Yeah.
Yep.
So after the erase, Draka just comes in as a 9/9 airborne blitz.
2 Scars Gifts, then the Drain Essence, dumping the discard pile, drawing an extra card off of the Ancient Chant.
Right. So Sam goes to 16. Picking up that second Scar's gift, that's when things turn.
Right.
If
You got a nice safety net now, but I mean, he still does a lot.
Yeah.
Strafing Dragon, still knocks him down to 14 after attacks.
we gained the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 that turn, so back to 20, right?
Yeah, and so he's gonna hold on to the cards he has in his hand, play the first Scar's Gift. If you want to eat that out of my discard pile, no big deal.
Yeah.
He still has that surprise attack, but hasn't actually found anything to surprise attack.
Right. There's not a Xanos or an Angel
Right.
of Death right now to
Even
really
just
take
a Gudgeon,
advantage of it.
yeah.
Once again, the Strafing Dragon coming in, and this time John takes it.
Right. Well, he doesn't. He has even less answers now. He can wave or hasty retreat.
Yep.
Looks like he's going to be playing the Rift Summoner this turn. Might be thinking about potentially even gaining some extra health in case he takes a lot of damage this turn, and eating up the other Scar's Gift and his Rift, his Dirge to make another Demon token. I'm sure he's attempting to evaluate what's the chance my opponent has Scar right now. How bad is it if I play the Scaros and it just hits all my Demon tokens?
Yeah.
If he makes 3 Demon tokens right now, and then his entire board gets wiped.
And he's been so careful with the Scar's Gifts in every game.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a Ward Wipe in his hand, so... Well, I mean, he has Wave, but...
John, surprise attack, draws a card. And still, so
Right,
just
he
saying...
had that in his hand,
yeah.
but... Might as well cycle the surprise deck.
So he has all 3 Scar's Gifts. That's another reason that he was more willing to lose one. Wow, he's found all 3 Scar's Gifts. And loyalty off the Rift Summoner, 2 demons back to Sam. Sam erases one
Just
of the demon tokens, but
Okay.
if I'm John, I gotta feel okay about that.
Yeah. Well, Sam's just worried about dying at this point.
Right.
I see Feeding Frenzy's coming down.
Right. Wolf's Bite into Feeding Frenzy as well from Sam.
Playing the Erase first, just in case he draws a Lightning Strike.
There's 2 Zombie Apocalypse in John's deck. But Sam recycled a few champions. It
Looks like he didn't actually hit an Amnesia, so my guess is...
There's a Roxas Curse.
Ooh, that's 8. So that threatens lethal,
That's-
right? If those, because right now that's 4 in
Yes.
play,
8,
8,
10,
and
12, plus a coin
Right.
of any kind in evil is 14.
Yeah,
Sam
right
needs
now-
to do something now.
8. Right now, yeah, right now there's 12 in play and in hand. Yeah, and an evil coin. I mean, he has that Hurricane, but doesn't set him up for in a good position. My guess is
He also never wants to play his coin first on John's turn. John could have the 1 steed, right? I mean,
Right.
these are things Sam has to think about. He chooses to
Surprise
go with the
attack.
surprise attack.
looking for...
He finds a Misguide Herald.
That could easily be a Scaros.
Those are the flips.
Wow.
It's like 3 choices here.
Huh. It's an interesting decision. I mean, the safest play would actually be to get Brock.
Right, because he's
He can't be board cleared.
That is a really big surprise attack.
I think-
Finding the Misguide Herald off the top into the Brock.
Yeah.
Fist of Lashnock.
If I'm Sam, I think I get the Brock.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you reveal loyalty, you draw a card.
The dangerous thing about pulling out a Raging T-Rex is that you're dead to Dark One's Fury.
That's a break. Where, yeah,
well, Dark
Brock
One's
would-
Fury, because it leaves the
Right.
demon tokens.
Exactly.
He could, if John had Dark One's Fury, he can just play both the Scars Infections, play Dark One's Fury.
And I think there's both Scar's Gifts. It's Dark One's Fury. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Before blocks, Dark One's Fury.
I mean, he
And
could have something pretty crazy,
There's a
but
he could block with a Muse.
I think he needs more than one. Did he get back all? I guess he only got 2 back.
That's
So right now,
it's
he'll
He's
be
like
at 2. He'll be at 2.
Yeah.
He's not dead because he has the Muse to block.
yeah, jump blocks with the Muse.
But I'm sure he's not feeling good about
Think
how
about
that
how
turned out.
difficult these decisions are. There's a guilt demon, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations, John. What that was such. It was the Dark One's Fury, and you said it. I didn't even see it in John's hand.
Yeah, I didn't
What-
see it in
yeah.
John's hand either.
I mean, that's just a testament to Epic and how not only incredibly difficult it is, but the smallest